something ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace, you gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience under pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah, socks with the burst, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids, but really now I got these arrows aiming at your ribs. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice, these my motives. Bought my chicken and it's rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the rip and we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now, they all on me. Got counterfeits trying to play me, I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and out of their character. Homie, you need a price cause without it the squad ain't hearing you. Top of that, we ain't fearing it. We swinging for the fences with the sting of a left hook that connects with Sonny Liston. I'm dismissing any and all of the disrespect. Nonetheless, it ain't a threat, I'm just letting y'all know who's next. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas, you gon' see the...
Coach, what's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Space showing for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, though they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. What is going on, Mafia? What the heck is this thing Bitcoin doing? It's binging, it's bonging, it's going sideways, it's dumping. What is coming here, guys? What is coming up next for Bitcoin? That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Obviously, Bitcoin has been an absolute disaster as far as boring, horrible, choppy price action. So I'm going to try to break everything down for you guys. I am still holding my short from 102K. Who could have guessed it? Who could have guessed it? But yes, I am also still also now in a scalp long position here, guys. Let me just answer Tony D real quick. He got a text message here. Yeah, fire just... Okay, cool. Yeah, fire. Awesome. Great job. Love you, bro. Thanks. Okay, fire. Anyway, but yeah, guys, what is coming up next here for Bitcoin? I did just enter a little bit of a scalp long, but I have to be honest, guys. Oh, man, my sentiment remains exactly the same as yesterday, guys. We got a little push to the upside. We got rejected by the POC/anchored VWAP last night, and we do still have potential room to the downside here, guys. I'm going to take a look at some of those bearish signs with you guys. Trying to put a probability on this. Last night I was talking about how my sentiment is pretty much neutral at this point as we play around with this macro POC in the middle of the range. Are we going to get a push up, get a push down? Pretty much a 50-50 shot in my opinion, but if I had to lean one way, I would have to lean a little bit more bearish based off the money flow on Market Cypher B on a lot of really, really key time frames. So my sentiment pretty much remains exactly the same, guys, but I'm going to break down the local price action. I'll talk about the little scalp long that I'm in, which, to be quite honest, I don't really have a lot of hope for. But we're going to break it all down for you guys tonight on the live stream. Shout out to Dave Digital. We got Tony D, Crypto Billy, Chemistry Bro, Darren Does Things, Rob the Crypto Snob, Tyler Durden. You guys know who the mods are. Show them some love in the chat. We got Captain Kirk in the chat as well. We got Jedi Skirk. What is going on? Said, what's your favorite dog breed? Shout out to Jedi Skirk. My favorite dog breed is a German short-haired pointer. Those are my favorite dogs. By far. I also love Great Danes. I'm a dog maxi, to be quite honest with you guys. If it's a dog, I like it. I don't care what kind of breed it is, but German short hairs are probably my favorite. Great Danes are also awesome as well. Shout out to Alexandra G. Good to see you in here. Hope you're doing well. Welcome in. We got K Diggity in the chat. Always shout out Phoebe. Shout out to K Diggity. Almost got the stream deck frozen there, guys. Let's see. We got Cali Crypto Dude. What is going on? Bada boom. Crypto Steph said, what is up with the black eye, Frankie? Do I have a black eye, guys? I totally didn't get into a fight at the grocery store because someone told me that Bitcoin wasn't going to pump. No, I'm kidding. Do I really look like I have a black eye? Hang on one second. Maybe bags? Slight bags, guys? I'm really, really bad at sleeping. Slight bags? Maybe this one a little bit? Is a little... Do I have a black eye, guys? Tony, take a poll. Do I have a black eye? Did I get... Listen, guys, Mrs. Candles flails her arms in her sleep, so she might have caught me last night in the eye socket. Do I have... It might just be bags, guys, if I'm being honest. I'm trying to see here. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. Interesting. But anyway, it's like Frankie Candles is hiding. He's actually like super violent in the grocery store when someone talks trash about crypto. Hey, what do you do for a living? I do crypto. Crypto's a scam. What'd you say? The left eye looks bruised. Really? Guys, am I dying right now? Trying to like look at the camera so I can see the eyes while also looking at the monitor. Do I really? I don't even really see it. Maybe. Well, this is my left one. That might be right for you guys. Maybe this one a little bit. Might be a vein. I have a vein down there. But anyway, interesting. That's a first. But anyway, let's continue on here. Hopefully that doesn't get more black as time goes on. Mrs. Candles must have gave you a right hook. Yeah, shout out to Jen French. She's like, get off the live stream. Dang it, Frankie, you're late. I was late off the live stream last night. I tried to wrap up early. Yeah, so she just punched me in the eye. But let's see. Blink 3 times if you're in danger. I'm definitely not in danger, guys. I'm definitely not in danger. But anyway, let's continue on, guys. I want to jump on into the charts here. Probably going to be a little bit of a quicker live stream. I'm not saying it's going to be short, but might be a little bit quicker, guys. We'll take a look at some of the altcoins. I'll give you the breakdown on Bitcoin. But really, at the end of the day here, guys, I am waiting for Bitcoin to make a bigger move. Things are super boring right now. I'm just waiting to come up to hit those higher levels. So without further ado, shout out to K Diggity. Shout out to Darren Dusting. Shout out to Hayden. Said, I'm scared. Shout out to Hayden. We're going to try to give you a little bit of relief here. I'll try to ease your fears a little bit. Let's see. We got Paper Beats Rock said, getting beat up by the alts like me. Yeah, getting slapped around by Tia today. But anyway, let's continue on. That was the third blink. Shout out to Gary. Mafia, come in, SEAL Team 6 style, and save your boy. But anyway, I'm just kidding, guys. Let's go ahead and jump on into the charts and see if we can, I don't even care if we can predict the next move, guys. Let's just get this thing to move in general. Let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's go. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Mike Vito, my paisan in the chat. Left one looks puffy. Could be your liver. Oh my God, guys, my liver. Oh God, 3-hour stream loading. Shout out to Jesse. Thank you for the super chat, guy, bro. Let me see here. Dang, the stream deck is lagging, guys. One thing that is bruised up is this dang computer. Shout out to Jesse. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Yeah, we may do a 3-hour stream here. Yo, wink twice if she's hitting you. It's Phoebe, guys. Phoebe kicks me in my sleep. That is interesting, though. That's I'm gonna look into that. Maybe my liver's failing. I'm just kidding. But anyway, let's continue on. Do you eat enough veggies? Shout out to CJ. Yeah, I eat veggies all the time. I'm like super clean diet, guys. I never eat anything that isn't green or just chicken. It's all I eat, guys. But anyway, shout out to Bullish Sauce. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. He says, Frankie, much love, bro. Much love back to you, bro. Thank you for being here. Do you eat enough meat, eggs, and avocado? I actually do love avocado. I eat a lot of eggs on the weekends. I don't really eat eggs during the week. But anyway, let's continue on here and see if Bitcoin's going to wind up walking out of this with a black eye as well. But let's see here. It's going to be like, you just see like some crypto news thing, like Frankie Candles gets into a scuffle over someone talking trash about XRP. But anyway, let's take a look here, guys. Obviously, I'm going to be quite honest with you guys. There's really nothing to update here. Like, no major things to update. We're going to take a look at Market Cypher B because some things have changed. But for the most part, guys, we are just still within this very, very tight range. We saw that bounce yesterday. What was yesterday? Yesterday was the 10th, right? We were kind of wiggling around up here. Let me actually come up. Where were we on the 10th at... Where we at? Yeah, so 5 p. Yeah, we were basically just hanging out up here at that POC and wound up getting that rejection from this POC anchored VWAP, guys. This, more the anchored VWAP than anything, right? Like the POC has been pretty strong resistance, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, right? But really this anchored VWAP just keeps slamming it back down, trying to slam it back down, comes up for another try, and then boom, right back to the downside. So yeah, like this is really still the major key level of support. And like I said, I am in a little bit of a scalp long from the low here over on Femex. However, I'm going to be honest. I'll talk about kind of why I entered that position, but I don't really have much hope for it, guys, because my overall, before we, I'll zoom into this local kind of situation in just a minute, but pulling up our major zone here, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, I hate to like, just keep repeating myself, but in a market like this, there's really nothing else to do, right? Like we're playing around with this POC. It's a magnet. We're back above, back below, back above, back below, back above, back below, back above, back below, right? This is going to act as a magnet for price, as it is the strongest magnet within your volume profile. And I mean, this is pretty much what we're just seeing, right? If we cannot reclaim every time, the thing that there's a few things why I would kind of favor a move to a continuation to the downside here, guys. And it has to do with all different types of stuff, right? So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But at the end of the day here, guys, if we can't hold this POC as support, we are not going to get up to that value area high, right? And in general, right, I always say this, right? I've been saying this for a while now. If we had come up and tested that value area high, I'd feel much better about just saying like, hey guys, this is turbulence. We're very likely going to go down to the value area low of the range, because typically you go from value area high to POC to value area low, right? But we kind of front run that value area high, which kind of gives you like you're kind of in a weird situation there, right? Because like, are you going to come back up and tap it and then fill the range? Are you ever going to fill the range? And it kind of puts you in a difficult situation. But at the end of the day, something we could just take away in a simple kind of manner is that, if we can't get above this POC, which again has not been very good, right? Every time we get above it, we get slammed back down, especially right here. We got slammed back down. If we can't get back above that, guys, the next major stop, in my opinion, is going to be the value area low of the range. We also have our local Fibonacci retracement, which was our last opportunity to look for a long, right? We caught had a long setup down here in the premium Discord for over the weekend, came down in there, got the little push to the upside where we were using that local range as context. And, typically with these volume profile trades, guys, the way we handle these is when you find the entry, right, you come down to your level, you see the confirmations, you're going to be looking to take that position in anticipation of potentially filling that volume profile in full, with the first take profit being the POC. And you can see that long setup, did play out, right, but it only brought us up to TP1, right? We only got that TP1, and then it wound up hopefully stopping most people out in profit, as when you take TP1, I like to move my stop loss to break even, giving you at guaranteed winning trade. The same situation I'm in on my short position, guaranteed winning trade, but we just hit TP1, hit the POC, and got the rejection. And actually, most people probably didn't even get stopped out of this. They're probably just sitting in that position. Now, as you guys know, I did not take this position because I was not at the computer. So although it was a setup in the Discord, I was not personally in that position. But I am in now, pretty much in that kind of same entry, but just at a later date, right? We came back down, and I am in that scalp long, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. But at the end of the day here, guys, like, we're just bing-bonging around here, and this is not even the best, the most respected range I've ever seen. So to be quite honest with you guys, other than these little scalp positions, which are super low probability in my opinion, this whole area on price action, I've only taken two new trades. I took one last week and I just took one today. They were both low probability. The one last week got stopped out for a small loss, and I would kind of expect the same thing here, because my overall kind of bias here, guys, is again based off market cipher and the volume profiles would be to have to expect at least a move down to the 786, if not the value area low of the range, right? Now, if I'm wrong about that, that's totally fine. I'll stop out of my short in profit. Now I'm at least exposed long here as well, so if we do come up, I'll be able to make a little bit of money as well. But at the end of the day here, guys, if I'm just looking at this as a volume profile, like, I don't really see any strong bottom confirmations here on Market Cipher B, right? Like, we have the daily green dot, but your money flow is in the red. VWAP is rolling over, which could change very quickly. But, as long as this money flows in the red, guys, we got to be really careful for the continuation to the downside, right? We also had Powell saying that they're in no rush to cut the rates. And you guys will remember recently in a live stream, we were talking about a potential delay on this bull market, or at least like a delay on alt season, I guess we could say. But I said, what if we get some kind of a black swan? Not that I'm saying that that's a black swan, but what if we do get that little delay to come in here? And because to be honest with you guys, we need that looser monetary policy. We need that QE to get the actual alt season to come in. And until that happens, we are very likely going to see the alts either go sideways or continue to get crushed. Now, does that mean that we are in for, tons of downside? It's really hard to call just based off that stuff. But from a chart perspective, we could look at the key levels and try to find where there's going to be a bottom here. But to be quite honest with you guys, like, we don't have any daily bullish divergences. I guess maybe if you're not counting this wick, I guess even if you are counting it, you can look at this as maybe this is a confirmed hidden bullish divergence, but it's really not that clear to me. And to be honest, I would really just love to come down and fill this range. We also have a lot of liquidity sitting down here, and we have some liquidity sitting above this level as well. This is just a bigger area of interest to me, guys. And to be honest, right, if I wasn't taking these little scalp positions, which, to be honest, is kind of just it's the only thing I can look at, right? Like, let me try to take a scalp within this local profile and make a little bit of money today. But other than that, guys, like, this is just garbage price action. This is not what I'm interested in trading in. This is low probability. And I would just much rather wait to come down here for bigger long opportunities, or wait to come up for the bigger short opportunities. And that's been my plan ever since we entered this sideways range. Hold the short with my stop loss in profit and profits locked in. And if we shoot up, we cash out on the short, and then we look for new ones, right? Or if we come down, we continue to cash out on the short, close it for some more profit, or look to take some more profit before looking for another long. And at the end of the day, that doesn't make for great content. But guys, to be honest, I'm sitting here waiting. Other than that little scalp long position, if I get stopped out of that, it's whatever. It's a small position. But for the most part, just waiting for the bigger move to come in here. And if I had to lean in one direction, I will say this. Market Cypher B is super chopped up right now, right? Like daily money flow is in the red. This makes us anticipate lower highs and lower lows, which again, that would be a point for the bears looking for that move down to the value area low. And then if we also come on over here to the 16-hour, we got that 16-hour red dot with our 1 hour money flow crossover into the red. This is typically the start of the continuation down, right? If the 1 hour money flow crossover into the red, 16-hour red dot printing at the same time, giving us that Market Cypher B 116 strategy, which oftentimes does continue us to the downside. So, I don't want to make it sound like it's impossible to bounce here. Like I said, it's a super low probability it's low probability price action. Like this whole range is super sketchy, unclear, and I just like to take higher probability trades. But again, if I had to lean on the technicals, I would have to lean more towards the downside because there are just generally more bearish signals, right? Daily money flow, the 16-hour and the 1 hour Market Cypher B116 strategy would also call for a continuation down. We also have the 12-hour red dot printing with the 45-minute money flow crossing over into the red. These are not things that we like to see before a massive move to the upside, right? If we were coming down here to a massive value area low with daily bullish divergences and literally the opposite of what we're seeing on money flow right here, if we had this money flow in the red coming into the green, that would be much better for a big move to the upside. Now, again, I don't want to make it seem impossible. Could we just put a low in here, bounce off that golden pocket and send it? Maybe, right? But I would definitely put a lower probability on that when we're looking at the technicals, especially with what Powell was just saying. With not rushing the rate cuts, it's not really an environment, which is also interesting, right? Because the stock market's not doing horrible, right? But Bitcoin's just sitting there sideways. So in a situation like this, guys, sometimes the best trade is no trade. And I know it's kind of counterintuitive or contradictive because I just said I took a scalp long, but just remember, it's a scalp, right? If I get stopped out of that, it's not like I'm not betting the farm on a bounce here, right? Super low probability. But at the end of the day, I would have to wait for that bigger move to the downside to really find a sound long position, unless we're going to wind up bouncing off of the this 786, right? Unless we lose the golden. If we lose this golden pocket, I'll just move on with this, right? Because this is just kind of like beating the dead horse. If you lose that golden pocket, we are going to be looking down towards that 786 at about $93,300. That's our last line of defense. Again, there's not a lot of confluence down here. So at the end of the day, guys, I would just be I'm pretty much just sitting on my hands, holding that short position, expecting to get stopped out of the long, and just waiting, right? Like, it's just like gross price action. You would have, I'm glad I haven't been trying to just scalp this entire range, right? Because it would have just been like Chop City, would have gotten stopped out 100 times, and it would have just been super frustrating. So if we lose this golden pocket at 94,740, we're going to be looking for that bigger drop down to the 786 at 93.2, or I say 92.3. And then, again, this could be an opportunity to look for maybe scalp long positions, but at that point, you're very close to the value area low. You're already rejected below that POC. And, I just don't like how this just continuously is getting rejected here. Every time we pop over that POC, we get rejected. And we know, right? This POC, once you get below and can't get back above, as the doorway more often than not to the value area low. And again, understanding we have the liquidity sitting down here. We know liquidity acts as a magnet. Daily money flow crossing over into the red. Many things pointing in that direction, right? Now, I will say this. When I was looking to take that scalp position, I will just say this, right? We did have some very low time frame bullish divergences. You can see we had a little exaggerated, we had a little bullish divergence here on the 24-minute as we were deviating below that local range. So I'll go ahead and hide this and pull up the local range, right? So we were kind of just deviating below that local range, and then we started getting accepted back in. So the idea here is if we can get above that value area low, continue up towards that POC, that would be TP1. If we're lucky enough to get there, again, super low probability on this one. I wouldn't be, I'm not expecting too much out of this, to be quite honest. Kind of took it out of boredom, to be honest with you guys. Always managing that risk, right? I'm not like risking half my account because I'm bored, right? But it's like really the only opportunity I could see, right? We also had some order flow confirmations. We did get the pump to the upside, right? We actually, right after I entered the position, we started pushing up, and now we're just getting it ripped back to the downside, right? Like I said, super low probability stuff here. But at the end of the day, this is what we're looking at. If we continue up, POC at 97,760 is the next key target, right? Get above that, flip that anchored VWAP to support. This actually didn't even look horrible last night as we were trying to get above that anchored VWAP, but we just wind up losing it again. But if we do continue up, key levels of resistance locally, I'll just cover this locally because I think everybody knows the larger targets of the value area low. But once we continue, if we do continue up, POC at 97,750, and then flip that, confluent area here with the anchored VWAP POC, look up towards the value area high / golden pocket retracement. This is going to have to, this is the low. So golden pocket value area high sitting at about 99.5. So even if this did wind up playing out for some reason, we got back up, we push into the POC. Like, I'm really just looking for this at the end of the day. Even if that played out, that'd be like, oh, great, we made a few $1,000s, no big deal. But then again, you're just still sideways here, right? Like, if I did not have a YouTube channel, if I did not have a Discord, guys, I'd probably be off the charts right now, just waiting for something to happen, more than, this little tiny dang 3% wonky range that we're in. Super boring price action, to be quite honest. Let's see. Bada boom. Hang on one second, guys. I think we just saw. Hang on. Let me come up on in here. Let's see. Shout out to Bullish Sauce, bro. Thank you so much for getting those Frankie Candles memberships. Let's go. Dropping 2 gifted Frankie Candles memberships. I appreciate you, bro. And shout out to anybody who got those. And Crypto Billy with the $50 super chat. Let's go. Thank you so much for that, bro. He says, I got one thing to say, Frankie. Hashtag FYP. That stands for Find Your People, guys. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Hey, is today Tuesday? I think today is Tuesday, guys. Today is Tuesday. So you guys know, Billy Goat Tales tonight on X at 9 p.m. Guys, don't miss it. Go check it out. The best X space on earth. Go check him out. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Thank you for the super chat, bro. And hashtag FYP. We found him, baby. We got the mafia right here. We found our people. Let's get it. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, bunch of yellow X's on market cipher B, and that brings me to my next kind of bearish sign here. I got one like pretty bearish sign here, which obviously is going to be over here. I don't know about obviously, but over here on the 8-hour time frame, guys. I'll pull up the kind of higher time frames. I'm really just going to do the higher time frame analysis, guys, because again, even that local range in here, super low probability. This isn't really a volume profile that I would look at to be like, hey guys, when we look at these volume profiles, like even this one up here was much nicer. We were able to scalp the heck out of this thing for every dollar it was worth, but this one is just grinding to the downside. You're also losing the POC, so like even those local levels, like I wouldn't really be putting a lot of weight on them, right? I'm really just looking at the longer time frame, right? But if we take a look at this 8-hour, guys, let's do it. Let's pull it up. Bada boom. 8-hour blood diamond is now printing on market cipher B, and this is one of the big things that makes me think that probably not gonna get what we want from this little scalp long position, just because I don't typically long against this stuff unless, and I just want to be clear, this long position is a scalp position until proven otherwise. I'm not expecting my long position to yeet off into new all-time highs. If it happens, great, but it is going to be viewed as much more of a local position. Do I have it on here? Yeah, so I'm just really looking for this to continue up to that value area high. But again, I don't really have high hopes. I'll talk a little bit about, if we are going to get that, what could cause a short-term push to the upside. But 8-hour blood diamond, guys, like, there is no argument here. Like, there are a bunch of bearish signs here on market cipher B. So I'm just sticking with my plan. If I'm wrong, I can readjust my plan. And again, if it goes against me, I'll just stop out of my short and profit. And at this point, I'm kind of profiting either way. If we dump, the long gets stopped out, the short continues to pay, and then if we rip, short gets stopped out in profit and long continues to pay. So really just waiting for the bigger levels to get hit. But 8-hour blood diamond, daily money flow crossover into the red, the 12 and the 16-hour red dots with the money flow crossovers into the red on those corresponding time frames that give us that market cipher B116 strategy. And just at the end of the day, guys, like there's no strong bottom here in my opinion, right? Like even if we were looking for a strong bottom here, like I'd like to see a high time frame bullish divergence, which, I mean, I guess you could potentially argue that you have that on your 16-hour. You have a slight higher low. You don't really have lower lows, though. Yeah, like, I mean, I would like to see, like, a nice daily bearish bullish divergence, which we just don't have, right? So, again, like, I would say I'm a bit more neutral, but if I had to lean on the TA, I would have to say more things on market cipher B, more things on the chart are pointing down than up. So we'll see, but I'm covered in both directions. And, if we come on down here to the lower time frames, we did actually have... for the scalp long position here, we did also have some things on the lower time frames. We actually had one of the very, very, very never spoken about market cipher B116 strategies. I for sure never talk about it, and it is the 3-minute and the 45-minute green dot, right? So we saw that. I saw that 3-minute money flow starting to come up here. This is part of the reason why I decided to enter that long position, amongst a few other things as well. But I see that 3-minute money flow coming into the green. That corresponds with the 45-minute green dot. We had both of those things printing at the exact same time. And that 3-minute money flow gives you a beautiful, beautiful entry into that trade before getting that push to the upside. Like I said, I entered the trade. We actually instantly started coming up. But what happens, right? It was looking so good, and then we just get crushed back to the downside. Now, is this... going to continue down. Kind of hard to say if we pull our fib here. We just came down for the golden pocket. So I'm going to hold this position. We'll see what happens. But other than that, guys, I don't really want to... like I never want to spread fear. You know, I'll be the first person to come up here and tell you, as accurate as we are most of the time, I'm not going to come up here and say I'm super confident in a move up or down unless I really feel that way, right? And like the TA is definitely pointing down. You guys know the next key levels. $91,500 is about that value area low. And I will say this as well. If you see the 12 and the 16 hour, the way these are starting to form on Market Cipher B, I'll even say this, right? Like, could potentially, if we did push down like into that 786 that we have sitting right about here, let me go ahead and pull the fib real quick. Right, we have that 786 sitting here, or even into that value area low. If we wind up getting another drop down, I will say this 16-hour might actually start printing something decent with a 16-hour bullish divergence with your lower lows on your price action, higher lows into your momentum waves. And then this is into a key level of support where we're already going to be looking for longs, right? This would be a much, much stronger bottom signal, in my opinion. So if you're looking for something to call the bottom, and I don't know if it would be the bottom forever, as long as that money flow's in the red, money flow indicates the longer-term trend. So even if we did see this happen and we get a bounce, if that money flow's still in the red, we could potentially still look at that through the lens of putting in lower highs and continuing to the downside. But this will be something like, I mean, this is speculative. Like, there's no promise this is going to happen. But if we did get the drop down and we start seeing this bullish divergence, and I'll know, right? If we do get this, I'll see everybody in chat being like, Frankie, I think that bull div is printing. Can you check it out? And that's what I love to see. But this would just be a much better situation, in my opinion, to be looking for a big long position, which is just part of the reason, on top of the fact of it being a value area low, and we have liquidity sitting below here as well. This is just a higher probability area for a long. So we'll see if we get stopped out of the scalp. If not, it'll play out. No big deal. And then just to give a little freebie here, if we see something like that, that would be much more of a stronger bottom signal, in my opinion. So if we can make it down there, that's one of the major things I would be looking at to see the market reverse back to the upside. The only real thing that we have fighting for us here is the fact that we are holding these higher lows, right? But again, that does not mean that it could change, right? So I would have to say, like, I am neutral, but if I would probably be leaning slightly bearish, right? That's the bullish case. The bullish case, really, in my opinion, there isn't much of a bullish case here from the chart's perspective, right? 4-hour money flow was trying to come up into the green, right? And then it came back out. Maybe that next 4-hour green dot magically gives us a push to the upside. I hope it does for the sake of my long. But again, like, a lot of this money flow is very chopped up, right? Technically, you have your momentum waves trending to the upside, right? You know, direction is everything on Market Cipher, whether it's money flow or momentum waves. You want to see everything trending in the right direction, right? But we have momentum coming up. But look at your money flow. It's coming to the downside. That's very, very conflicting there. So take that for what it's worth. But right now, yeah, I would have to say, like, again, I'm covered on both ends. That's the beauty of being a trader. I'm in a long, in a short at the same time. And we'll see what happens. But other than that, scalp long, guys, I'd be more comfortable holding my short position, waiting for lower, and then, you know, getting stopped out in profit. Just waiting for these bigger levels, guys. Like, this is disgusting price action. We looked at the daily candles yesterday. It was just like doji, 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 up, down, doji. It's just garbage price action to be trading here, in my opinion, at least for, like, bigger, higher probability trades. But as you guys know, when Bitcoin sleeps, oftentimes it is quickly woken up and quickly kind of like wakes up in a frenzy, like, oh my God, and it either runs up or it runs down, right? So I'm not saying I want to poke this thing with a stick too much, because I don't want this thing to dump too much, but I will say, like, just to cover the higher time frames once again, guys, you know, I might do a little bit of a pre-record tomorrow where I just kind of go over, like, the state of Bitcoin right now, right? We all know we need the loose monetary policy for the bull run to go absolutely parabolic. Now, again, we're pretty far along here on Bitcoin, right? I say this all the time. A lot of people say, like, oh, this bull market's just getting started. I would argue pretty much the opposite, right? Like, we've been in this bull market forever, right? Not ever, but, like, we've been in this bull market for very long, right? This is far from the beginning, in my opinion, right? So what does that mean for Bitcoin, right? Like, well, you know, if we get the loose monetary policy, if Bitcoin continues to pump, like, maybe we see, you know, 113, 120, 137, 140, 150, something like that would be, like, crazy, and, like, that would be, I would like that. But at the end of the day, guys, like, this thing has been ripping for quite some time. And again, it doesn't mean we can't go to 200K or 150 or whatever it is. Obviously, we have more conservative targets here, because what we do is we find those actual technical targets on the chart. Not like, I feel like it could hit, well, I don't know, like, if this bullish news happens, and then, like, I feel like it could be 120. Like, we're not guessing here, right? We actually have real information on the charts that we're looking at, real technical levels. That's how we found this target here. It would be really depressing if this is the top of the bull market, guys, because this was, like, target number 2 for our bull market, like the video that we made a long time ago when we were at, like, 20 or 30K, looking for those next all-time high targets. I think this was target 1 or 2, right? So it'd be really depressing if we just hit target 1 and we do not get up to these higher targets. But again, like, are we going to see a situation, right? We have to kind of wait for the looser monetary policy, right? And if they're not in a rush to do it, maybe we get a little delayed here. Maybe we go sideways. Maybe we get a flush of leverage. Maybe we get a dump. Maybe we get a black swan, and we have to wait a little bit longer. It's very hard to say what's going to happen here, but really what I'm talking about delaying is alt season, right? Because alt season for sure needs that environment, right? Which makes sense, right? Because Bitcoin's not going to, we don't have looser monetary policy and Bitcoin's not pumping, the alts aren't going to pump either. So maybe alt season gets a little bit delayed as well. And at the end of the day here, guys, like maybe we're getting close to the bottom on the alt. But in my opinion, like I bought a lot of my alt in the bear market. So like I get this question all the time on the live stream. Like, Frankie, are you picking up any altcoins right now? Like I packed my bags, a lot of my bags on altcoins, like all back here, right? Like during the bear market. So I'm in a situation, luckily, right? Or it wasn't lucky. It was on purpose that I set myself up like this. But I'm in a cushy position where like I don't need to like rush into alts because like again, like, you know, I don't want to say I don't think this cycle is over, right? Like I say this all the time. I don't fall in the camp that this cycle is over. But I'm definitely in the camp that if we don't get the looser monetary policy, we're not going to see things run, right? Like this is a condition that's been met in every single bull run. So if we don't get that, we are not going to see the bull market continue until we wind up getting that looser monetary policy. So, and we can look at things such as the stock market, right? But interestingly enough, like the stock market didn't do too bad today. Bitcoin's kind of just going sideways / dumping. You could also look at the Russell 2000, which is which basically shows you the, it's kind of like total 3 for stocks, right? Like this is something that typically is either like an early indicator that, you know, alts might go crazy, right? Typically we see this pump and that's where you see the altcoins go crazy. So, you know, these are some things that we can look at, but at the end of the day, right, like we're really just waiting on that monetary policy. And the hard truth is if we don't get that loose monetary policy, it's going to be really hard for the risk on assets to run. So, you know, there's only so much thinking about the 4-year cycle can do for you because, you know, every cycle is a little bit different, right? Like we had March 2020, right? C19 happened in 2020. That was something different that happened in that cycle, right? We got the double top in 2021. That was something that was different. And maybe this one, it takes longer for them to loosen up that monetary policy and we get a little bit of a delayed bull market, right? And hindsight is always 2020. Maybe we are, you know, maybe we look back on this and we go, oh, that was the cycle where everybody thought alt season was going to happen. And then we got the delay and it didn't happen until a year later or something like that. And I'm not making that call. I'm just saying these are things that can happen, right? Like this is a very, very complicated market. And I think a lot of people, right, especially retail, you have to understand that, like, in my own personal opinion, I don't think there's really that much new retail here, right? Like, and we have a unique view because we have a YouTube channel. You know, when we get certain dumps or pumps, right, we see the numbers skyrocket on the YouTube channel, and like it's not really going too crazy right now, right? Like anyone's YouTube channel, right? Like everyone obviously gets different views depending on the subscribers they have, but like you'll see all the views go up, right? Like you there are social signs to show when retail is here, and in my opinion, they're just not here yet. Maybe there's more than there were at the bottom of the bear market, obviously, but like true like not normie. Like true normie retail is not here yet. And like, is this the cycle where they never show up? I mean, if we keep getting delayed and Bitcoin keeps going down, right? Like you need that exciting news. Oh my God, all these alts are up. Everyone's getting rich in crypto. That's where the euphoria happens. That's where the retail comes in. And where does the normie retail come in, guys? They come in at the tail end of the bull market for that last rip to the upside, right? So it's really hard to say what's going to happen here, but all I can give you is from a technical standpoint what I'm looking for. But if you want my thoughts on like kind of how I'm looking at this, like I guess fundamentally, I guess you can call it, not really. But we need the loose monetary policy. Until something happens with that, like we're very likely not going to see any runs on the altcoins, right? Like maybe Bitcoin hovers, maybe even pumps a little bit, but we really need that looser monetary policy. And what Jerome Powell was saying earlier today was not, you know, the news that, what did he say? I think I have the quote here. Yeah, Powell says the Fed does not need to rush rate cuts, right? That doesn't mean not cut, right? It just means they don't need to rush it, right? So, again, there's that delayed thought, right? Maybe we delay it a little bit. Maybe it's not going to be directly on like the last cycle. Maybe the timing is going to be a little bit different, which is totally possible, right? And a lot of people just want to know up or down, right? This is, you know, two things, right? Like two things I want to talk about because I really want to help you guys make money in this market, right? Number one, you know, to know when something is going to happen is extremely hard, right? And you could look at a million different things and try to time it, but it's very easy for me to say, right? Like if we come down here, we break these lows, we come to the golden pocket, we get some bullish confirmation, then we can look for a bounce. Frankie, when will that happen? almost impossible to call, right? Because this is what it's tied to a bunch of other stuff, right? Like maybe we get a little bit of a bullish news event, and then we put a lower high in, and then we come down, and then we go sideways for another 2 months, and then we lose it, come back into the range, reject the POC, and then we come down. In that case, it would take way longer. So it's really hard to tell timing. And to be honest, nobody knows, right? Like nobody's ever going to be able to do that. And if you're looking for an answer up or down when, you're looking for the wrong thing. And it's going to be really, really hard for you to make money in this market if that's what you're hunting, because nobody knows, and you're going to wind up making call or buying and selling based off what someone who doesn't necessarily even know much more than you is saying, right? A lot of people, like a lot of influencers and stuff, will try to pretend like they know way more than everybody else or they have some secret information. It's not true, right? That's the fact. It's not true. Nobody has secret information. We can look at the charts, but this isn't secret, right? Everybody can see these charts. Everybody can see where the liquidity is sitting. They might not know how to do the TA or what signals to look for, etc., right? That's our edge as technical analysts, right? As traders, our edge is the TA, is the strategies. But it's something anybody can learn, right? There's no secret pill, there's no secret indicator, and there's nobody on earth. Like maybe people with more experience have a better idea, right? Because they've been through it a lot more. But no one's gonna like, oh, I've been through 3 cycles, right? Like I don't just know secretly, this situation's gonna be different, right? We're in a different point in time. And then the other thing I want to talk about a little bit before we continue on to the actual key levels and what I might be expecting here in the long term is if you are crushed on altcoins, and I totally get it, guys. Like I'm down on some of my altcoins too. Luckily, not all of them. But some, like I said, I was buying in the bear market. But a lot of these altcoins are, some of them aren't even down bad. And the sentiment that I see, whether it's on, in live chat or anybody in the mafia, or like even more on other things, right? Like I go on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and I see like the comments in the crypto, on all the crypto content, like my alt's down 20%. And it's like, welcome to crypto, right? Like you have to be willing to bear these dumps, right? And I talk about this with like my normie friends and family. They're like, man, I bought this coin and it's down 50. It's done nothing but go down. I'm down 30%. And I'm like, dude, and then like they're wondering if they should sell. And at the end of the day, I don't want to, and it's okay if you feel like this, right? Because this is how it goes, right? Like I felt like this when I first started as well, right? But at the end of the day, if you're feeling like that, you're either overexposed, you bought at the wrong time, or you just don't have the stomach to handle the volatility of the crypto market, right? Like it can't just always go up and to the right. I think it's really important for people to realize, like when you wake up and your portfolio is down 30%, 40%, like this is crypto, right? This is something we see a lot, right? In crypto, it's very volatile, and I urge you guys to really understand that, right? Like when I wake up and my altcoins are down, like, right, for example, TIA, right? TIA, I bought all up in this range. I am down not massively. I guess probably like somewhere in the middle of the range is my average entry. Let me see here. Come on, give me the dang thing. Bada boom, right? So I'm down 35% on TIA. I'm not freaking out. I'm not panic selling. I'm not looking to sell the bottom, right? I just bid in crypto, so I know like, hey, this is going to go up eventually, and you have to have some kind of a long-term outlook, right? Like everybody wants to buy and then instantly get rich overnight, and please, it's the same thing with trading, guys. For the love of God, do not chase getting rich quick. You're going to lose all of your money, and I don't want that to happen to anybody in the mafia. I feel a responsibility to protect you guys from the emotions in the market and bad information out there as well, because people like to spread fear for clicks. People like to spread hopium for clicks, and I like to give you guys the raw truth. And if we are going to see a delay in the rate cuts and alts are going to continue to get crushed, no one can tell you when to buy or sell. Like if you're not comfortable being down 30% or 20% or potentially looking for a bigger dump, then you might just want to like reassess the situation, right? And I would never tell you to sell your bags at a loss. But you have to make your own financial decisions, not financial advice. But maybe like reassess the situation. Like again, I would never tell you to sell the bottom. But if it were me, right, like jump out of the market and sit there and be like, okay, all right, that was crazy. I jumped in off very little information, and I was down, and now I lost money. Like, okay, let me regroup. Maybe I shouldn't invest so much. Maybe I should wait for dips before buying pumps, or whatever it is. I just want you guys to be really careful out there, because I know like the 4-year cycle, and hopefully it just continues to play out, guys. Hopefully, hopefully the delayed rate cuts aren't a huge bearish event. Maybe it's nothing burger, and we just wind up ripping up. Maybe we put the higher low in where we're at right now, and we continue ripping. I hope that's the case. But if it's not, I want you guys to be prepared, right? Because it's going to be ugly, right? If Bitcoin goes down to 82K, the alts, unless Bitcoin dominance decides to dump, the alts are going to follow, right? So, and that's going to be really brutal. And you have to be ready to prepared to handle these things. And it all comes down to buying at the right time, not buying pumps. Like a lot of people who are saying like even on Bitcoin, people are like, oh my God, this thing's horrible. We've been doing nothing but dumping for months. And it's like, then that means you literally bought 110K, right? And then you're just dumping forever. If that's what it feels like, you just bought at the wrong time. And if you don't recognize these things, you're never going to be able to correct the mistake. So I know there's a lot of, I know morale is really down right now in crypto. Everything's dumping except for, Bitcoin's just going sideways. But, I know a lot of the alts are dumping, but like this is what we see in crypto, right? It's a very volatile space. And when it comes to me, right, if we continue dumping, like I'm holding long term. Right. So and then people might say like, well, you're just going to be down on all your money. Like, don't you need that money? No, I don't need that money. And it's not because I have a ton of money, right? Or that's not the reason, right? It's because I don't invest more than I'm willing to lose. And I think a lot of retail out there will just dump money that they, oh, you know what, let me take money out of this. Let me move this around just so I can put it into crypto so I can get rich overnight. And that's how they get the retail, right? Because you dump in all this money that you probably shouldn't be investing, right? And then you're down and then they freak everyone out. They all sell their bags at the bottom and then they buy it back up and they send them to $1 million, right? So just don't fall into that trap. The Mafia is not typical retail. We are smart retail. We can't say we're whales unless we're trading with like tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. Maybe Golden's a whale, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But please, Mafia, just keep your heads up out there. I know a lot of people are down. Just understand this is what happens in crypto. And I want you guys to reflect on the actual feelings that you have, right? It's just like a trading journal. Journal your investments as well. Like, wow, I'm down 20%. I feel miserable. This is horrible. I have anxiety. I can't sleep. You are probably investing. You are over leveraged or trading or investing more than you can lose, right? Now, with that being said, I want to talk about a little bit more of the bearish case, worst case scenario, which I'm going to go over really quickly because I think we all know what it is. If we lose these lows, guys, we could potentially see, right? And I'm hoping maybe, right? Assuming no black swan happens, I'm hoping we could come down here and then rip this thing back to the upside, have money flow fake back out into the green, and it's all glory. Send it to Pluto, right? That's what I'm hoping. This would be the bullish case, right? If we continue down. I guess really the bullish case is to just yeet out of here. But it doesn't really look likely according to the charts in my own personal opinion. I'm not trying to spread fear, right? I'm not saying the bull market's over. But it's the truth, right? So if we continue down here, bullish case, hopefully we could just bounce, send it to the upside. Super bullish case, we could just, yeet off out from where we are right now. But if we wind up losing these lows, guys, and we start grabbing all this liquidity down here, we break the range low, this is where things can get really scary, right? For retail, right? Or normal people, right? Not crypto lunatics like us. But if, you ask yourself, are you prepared for this, right? Me, if this happens and we dump down here, I'm prepared, right? And at the end of the day, if I wind up holding some of my alts till the bottom and we're going to a traditional 4-year bear market or 4-year cycle bear market type thing, then I'll deal with that when it happens. But at the end of the day, if we come down here, I'm not checking my portfolio on my alts, being like, oh my God, all my alts are down. It's to be expected, and I know that this $80,000 to $82,000 area, and we do have some areas above this as well, which could totally hold up as well, right? So we have this daily level at 87.3. We've talked about this many times. Like I said, there's really not much to update here, which is kind of why I'm just kind of talking about general investing in crypto, right? And understanding that it is a volatile market. And, you have to be prepared for this, right? But, we have the 87.3 daily. This is a huge level to look at. Once we break below this, that's really where things could get very, very ugly. I'm not panic selling my alts, right? I'm not getting emotional down here. And this is a very, very key level of support, right? So I'm actually going to be looking for longs down here. But I am prepared to hold through this, right? I know how crushed my altcoins are going to be if we come down here. And if you are looking at something like that, now, whether you think that's going to happen or not, that's a decision that you're going to have to make. You're going to have to do your own research, right? Not financial advice. But if that happens, are you prepared, right? Like, are you prepared to handle that drawdown, right? Like looking at your alts down that much. And this is why, in my opinion, it's really good to hold, good projects, right? Like not like a, random low cap meme coin, right? Now, some of the meme coins will hold up, but at the end of the day, right? Like I know a lot of the projects that I hold have good tech. I know they're likely to come back at some point, right? So, I have no problem holding that. Maybe I even buy the dip a little bit, but at this point, right? I bought a lot of my alts in the bear market, so I'm kind of sitting on my hands, right? Like my bags are packed. A lot of my alts won't be down when we come down here, right? A lot of my alts have been up for a while. I've talked about that before, like some of my average entry prices for I think my average entry price on Solana was like $18 or something like that, right? So a lot of my alts where I have a lot of my money are still up. And like, I know not everybody was buying down there, right? But this just goes to show next time there's a full-on bear market, this will give you the confidence to be like, this is where I want to buy. Because I remember in the last bull market, I bought the top And I was freaking out, right? And it's actually, that's why I recommend writing this stuff down, because you want to go back to this stuff and learn about it for the next bull market, right? Learn about your mistakes that you made. Get that experience. Write it down. And it will help you in the future, right? I have round trip bags before. Right? I'm not perfect. I have round trip bags before. This is why I am aware of all this stuff now, right? Holding from a top all the way to the bottom is absolutely brutal. But unless you feel the pain of that, understand what you did wrong, because everything is your fault. Make everything your fault when it comes to your money, right? Doesn't matter what friend told you to buy a meme coin that went to zero. It's not their fault. It's your fault, right? And I'm talking to you guys how I talk to myself, right? If Tony D says, yo, buy this meme coin, it's the next Doge. Okay, cool. I put a bunch of money into it. It goes to zero. Am I mad at him? Absolutely not, right? I just bought something based off what someone told me. That's my fault. I should have done more research, right? So instead of, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll come in at the tail end of the bull market. They'll be like, oh my God, I'm getting rich, and now I'm at zero. Oh wait, I'm getting rich again. Now I'm at zero. It'll go back up, and then they hold it to the bottom, guys. And what a lot of people will do is like, oh, crypto's a scam. Right, but they just don't understand that they were getting in at the wrong time, right? So if you understand what you do wrong in one cycle, you can correct it for the next cycle. If it isn't for round tripping bags in a previous cycle, when it comes to that next bear market, and once you understand this, right, when it gets to the bear market, you start to think to yourself like, this is the fear they were talking about. Everything's coming down. The world is collapsing. FTX is getting destroyed. All the exchanges are going down. The world is ending. This is probably where I buy. Right? Because last time you were probably buying bullish news and you got wrecked, right? If this is the case. I know not everybody's in this case, but if you're out there and you're new to crypto and you're listening to this and it's resonating with you, please remember this, because it's not unless you round trip bags that when you come into another bear market, you're going to be like, oh, this is where I have to buy, right? And then you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to actually buy down here. Like, a lot of people see this when they don't know anything and they're like, this is scary. I'm not buying this. Everything's going to zero. Exchanges are going down. I'm not buying anything, right? So anyway, keep that in mind. But the worst case scenario, in my opinion, guys, is to come down and start breaking these lows. We know we have the low volume gap. Once we lose that daily, things could get very ugly. I'm prepared for this if it were to occur. Honestly, it's just another day at the office for me. I don't even look at my altcoin bags if that happens, right? I'm just looking at this as like, oh, let me see if I can find a trade on Bitcoin here. Let me see if I can find a day trade, a swing trade, whatever it is. And then my altcoins are just doing whatever. And until I see a sign that there's going to be bottom on the altcoins, that's where I'll start long in the altcoins or maybe buying the dips. But right now, I'm kind of sitting on my hands for the alts. I'm not panic selling. I'm not panic buying, right? I'm just kind of sitting there. Hopefully we don't have to see the bearish case play out, but it is definitely on the table, bringing us down to about $82,000 to $80,000. But we have a lot of support down below us. Hopefully we can just not see that happen, hold the value area low, and send this thing up to $1 million, right? I don't think the top is in. Could it be? Yes. Anything is possible. But in my opinion, like even on Bitcoin, I think we could still make new highs. But we are going to be tied to that monetary policy, guys. If they delay that, unfortunately, it's like the most direct thing that is tied to the bull markets, right? Like once they start continue to cut the rates, that's probably when we're going to see things move. So there you go. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Rag Capital, said Frankie is the only one that knows the future. Shout out to Rag Capital. I do hope that I am wrong about having to come down here, right? Like, and again, like, I'm not even calling this to be like a super likely scenario, but again, like, all it takes is to look at that daily time frame, guys. And the only reason why I'm being very cautious about this is if you want it to yeet off from here, you have to counter trade the TA, which I just typically don't do. Could you counter trade if you counter trade all the TA, are you going to be right sometimes? Absolutely. Are you going to be wrong way more than you're right? Absolutely, right? So you could counter trade the TA here and be right. That's definitely possible. But the way I trade, I got to look at this, right? Like, if you guys been watching this channel for long enough, anytime I see something bearish, I say it regardless of how I think it's going to do in the comments or, how people are going to receive it, right? I'm just giving you the information. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just giving the information. But I am never going to hold back, right? If I think things look bearish, I have to say what I see on the charts, right? In my opinion, it's irresponsible to do anything other than that, right? So when we see daily money flow crossovers into the red, guys, like last time we saw something like this, right? The trend continued to the downside, and we even got a bunch of fake outs back into the green. This was brutal as well. Honestly, the price action we're seeing right now is just about as brutal as it was back here. This was the most boring area in the market, and shout out to Tony D, got me through this boring mess. I was like, dude, I don't even know what to talk about anymore. There's like nothing happening. We're just going sideways. A lot of people thought this was very volatile, which it was at times, but at the end of the day, that's 7 months of sideways price action, right? So that's what I'm looking at. Hopefully, hopefully we could just continue up here. Hopefully that scalp long continues to pay us out. But if it doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised. In my opinion, there is just nothing on the chart right here. I'm remaining with no emotion, sitting and waiting for those bigger levels. I would like to see a stronger bottom signal here, which at this point, next key levels to the downside, very simply put, 786 at 93,322, value area low at 91 to 92K. And that's what we're looking at, guys. But let me go ahead. Let's see. Shout out to One Hype Soul said, Frankie does have our best interest. Invest what you can afford. If you're scared, go to church. Yeah, shout out to, like if you're freaking out, I have somebody that I know personally that is, I had to tell them, and I was just like, I wouldn't invest in crypto if I were you, man. Every time you invest, they'll come in, right? They'll buy the top. They'll see a 30% pullback. They'll get scared. They'll sell the bottom. And at some point, right, in my opinion, I think it's irresponsible for me not to tell them, take your money out and maybe like do some research before you reinvest, because you're going to lose all your money very quickly. Like, I'd see the disaster happening before my eyes. And I don't know if they did it, but it is, I don't want anyone to lose their money. And when I see the way someone acts, and the only reason I'm able to identify it so well is because I used to be like that, right? But yeah, it's if you can't handle the volatility, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. So take that for what it's worth. Emotionless DGen, shout out to Mr. K. Let's go, baby. But yeah, shout out to Bullish Sauce. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said, wait for BTC to drop 25%. That's a real dump. Alt's down another 30 to 50. Yeah. I would say there's probably like a 2 to 3x multiple on the altcoin percentages when Bitcoin moves, right? So 1% on Bitcoin be like maybe like 2 to 3% on altcoins, right? And just move the decimal places. But yeah, I mean, that's, and that's kind of what worries me, right? And like, I know a lot of the altcoins have had massive drops, right? But like, people are like, oh my God, this altcoin's down 50%. And I'm like, yeah, like altcoins go down 50%. Like, it's not that crazy, right? Now, I'm not saying it's not painful, right? But it's not like unheard of, right? And a lot of these alts are crushed, right? Like, I mean, even Ethereum, but like, well, I mean, what's INJ here? What's INJ down from the top? Right, 78%. That's pretty brutal, right? No one can argue that that's not a brutal drop. But again, once you understand once you understand investing in, like, that's the thing with like normal people coming in, it's like they have no idea what they're doing, right? And I'm not saying that like no one knows what they're doing when they start something new, right? I didn't know either, right? But you come in and you're like, oh, it's not until hindsight, right? And that's my goal, is to help you guys see this stuff before you have to learn it, right? If you're new. You look back and you're like, oh, I bought the top, and then I sold the bottom, and then I bought another top, and then I sold another bottom. Like, I see what I did wrong. I just did everything the opposite way I should have, right? Which markets make it very easy to do, right? Because it's emotionally driven, right? It's all charts are. It's basically a plot of emotions on a screen. But I know this is brutal, but at the end of the day, right? Like, even on Bitcoin, it's like, we haven't really even seen that crazy of a dump yet, right? Like, at the end of the day, 25 to 30% pullbacks in a bull market are normal. We haven't really seen, I mean, what was this? This was from wick to wick. That was 32%, but that was over a long period of time. But like, these big dumps, like this one was 25%. This one was 29%. So we already have had a couple, but like 35%, if you wind up getting like a big 35% dump, like, I wouldn't want to see. Back in the 60s is bad news in my opinion. But, from wick to wick, right? Like, yeah, you see a 25% drop, like a fast 25% drop, like, get ready. Because if you thought those dumps were bad, if we get a 25% dump out of nowhere on Bitcoin, like, this is good. Like, alts are going to get destroyed. And I just want you guys to be prepared. I'm not saying it's happening, right? I'm not saying, like, watch out for the 25% dump or anything. Shout out to Bullish Sauce. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just saying you got to be prepared for that, right? Like, if people are freaking out on these little, especially even on Bitcoin, people will say, like, oh my God, Bitcoin's getting wrecked. Like, if you think this is Bitcoin going sideways, is Bitcoin getting wrecked, buckle up, right? Because it could get scary sometimes. When it gets scary, it doesn't always mean it's the end. So that's the hard part, right? It gets really scary. You're thinking like, oh, time to wrap it up. And then you wrap it up, and then boom, it sends it to the next higher high. So yeah. But luckily, you guys got me. I'm going to be here giving you guys the sauce every single day, obviously, as we have for the past 3 years. But that's kind of what I see, right? I would really like to see these lower lows hit, but I just want you guys to be prepared, because it just had me thinking, right? Like, if they're going to keep delaying these rate cuts and people are feeling the pain on the alts right now, buckle up, right? Like, even if it goes sideways, sometimes sideways can be more painful than down. Shout out to Jesse. Thank you for the super chat. Said we could already be at 1,000 likes. Come on, baby. Shout out to Jesse. Smash that like button. Even though I'm talking about the bearish case. But again, right, I don't think the bull market's over, guys. Like, even if we dump down to 80K, I say it every day, right? Like, that would not be bear market territory for me, in my opinion. Now, are we getting close to the danger zone at that point? Yes. But am I calling, that's the bear market? No, I'm looking for longs down here, baby. I'm looking for longs down here. But watch that monetary policy, guys, because everything is very, very tied to the monetary policy. So be very careful. Tony D said that person watching right now with the eyes and the lips, that's crazy. And don't listen, guys. If any of this resonates with you and you're like, oh my God, I do that all the time. And I know this, right? Because I talk to personal friends of mine and I have to tell them, I literally have to tell one person, take all your money out of crypto. Do not invest until you do more research, or just go invest in an S&P index or something. You're going to make way more money doing that, because this person is super emotional. They are like the poster child of what not to do, right? Like, they do the wrong thing every time and they know it, right? They say it. They're like, yeah, I just do the wrong thing every single time. And I'm like, so change it. Like, doing the same thing over and over is the definition of insanity. I think Einstein said that or something. So yeah, it's and I've been there as well, right? It's very, very don't be a just understand the markets make it very easy to get wrecked, right? Like, so don't feel like it seems really simple, right? Like, I don't want anyone to think that, like, I'm talking down on people who buy tops and sell bottoms. Like, you're an idiot. That's not the case, right? The market makes it extremely easy to buy tops and sell bottoms. Trust me, it's emotionally driven. I've fallen into the trap. Don't feel bad, but just recognize the problem so you can fix it, right? Because if you don't recognize the issue, that the mistakes that you're making, you can't improve them. And the reason why this is so clear for me is because I trade, right? So I deal with all these emotions on like a micro time frame, right? Like, when I take a small scalp trade, right, that might play out over the span of, say this trade here, if I were just looking for this to go, if I'm looking for this to come up here, right? It's like, oh my God, it's going up. Let me add to, I go through all those emotions very quickly in one trade. Right. And when it comes to bull markets and bear markets, right, overall investing, it's just elongated emotions like that. Let's see. Okay, so let me go ahead and let me come on in here to make sure we didn't miss any super chats. Bada boom, bada bing. Never invest more than you're willing to lose. Shout out to Bullish Sauce. Absolutely, bro. Yeah, I think we're covered on that. And yo, shout out to Golden. Gifted those 50 Frankie Candles memberships. How did I miss that is the question. Shout out to Golden, bro. Thank you for gifting those Frankie Candles memberships. I appreciate you, bro. Let's go. And if you are out there and your bags are underwater, guys, now you got a Frankie Candles membership. So you can come hang out with us every single day and use those custom emojis. And I don't know, maybe we might start doing some members-only content. That would be kind of fire, I think. That'd be kind of dope. But shout out to Golden. Thank you so much, bro. Drop those golden emojis in the chat if you got a membership. For the love of God, let's start that golden waterfall. No showers out here, guys. No showers. Only waterfalls. Let's see. Shout out to Gen Z. Said I invested everything because I'm poor. Locked in. Shout out to Gen Z. I mean, listen. If you're okay, right? Like I always say, like, when I was first starting, right? Like, I would put pretty much all I could. I wouldn't, I'd make sure I could pay my bills and stuff. But, I probably was a little too over leveraged in crypto. I think it's very common, right? Like, I mean, if people knew the amount of my net worth that was in crypto, they'd be like, you are way too exposed to crypto, bro. But I'm still young, so it's not that big of a deal. But, if you're locked in and you know the volatility, Gen Z, which I know you do, that's totally fine. I don't want to make it sound like, if you buy a top and you hold on for dear life, right? And, you're able to hold it through into the next pump. I'm like, diamond hand it, baby. Diamond hand it. As long as you're not like, investing your child's milk money into crypto. That's where it becomes very, very dangerous. There's no waterfalls near my house. Am I allowed to use my shower upstairs just this once, Frankie? All right, fine, Chem, bro. Fine. Shout out to Chemistry, bro. Let's see. Shout out to Amp Knight. Said my guess alt season 3rd or 4th quarter. I mean, really just whenever they decide to loosen the monetary policy, whenever that happens, and then you could try to find out, right, like where are they likely to loosen up the monetary policy, but that's a whole nother form of analysis that you would have to do. A lot of research. Shout out to V-Sun. Said Frankie, now I think of selling some of my alts for a while, but what if I sell the bottom again? Shout out to V-Sun. That's why I always say the easiest way, shout out to V-Sun, bro. The easiest way to the easiest way to avoid this is, right, like investing is simple, but simple is not the same as easy. It's as simple as buy low, sell high. And I don't even like that, right? Because that's relative. You could buy a low right here, and then it continues down, right? That's relative. But buy the fear, sell the greed, right? Don't buy, right? And I saw so many of my personal friends and family do this on XRP. They're like, oh my God, I got to buy this thing. It's going crazy for the last couple of days. I have to buy it. It's going nuts. I'm going to get rich. And I'm like, okay, if you want my input, I'm not going to give it to you unless you want it. Yes, Frankie, give me your input. That's literally the opposite of what you want to do. You're probably going to buy the top and you're going to wind up regretting it later. And then they do the exact, and they're like, okay, you're an idiot. I'm going to buy it. And they buy the top and they get scared and they sell the bottom. And I don't blame them, right? It's simple. It's simple to say, buy the fear, sell the greed. When everyone's freaking out, oh my God, this thing is the next best thing, and it's ripping, and the price is reflecting that sentiment, you miss the boat, right? More often than not, you miss the boat, at least locally. You might have not missed the whole boat, right? You might have, oh my God, everything's going to $1 million, and then it dumps all the way back down here, right? So if you don't want to feel this pain, you have to be disciplined enough not to buy the greed. Right? When everyone's, oh my God, it's going to $1 million, you got to wait, right? You got to wait for those pullbacks. Not financial advice. This is what I do, and I've had success, right? So it's just, it's very simple but not easy. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3, but it's about as easy as driving blindfolded in a parking lot full of cars. So, easier said than done, but it really is that simple. When people are scared, and like even this bear market, exchanges are going down. Regulation. There's never going to be another bull market. These are huge buy signals. And when I heard that, right, I'm thinking like, well, okay, sentiment's super low. Everything's going to zero. I'm going to start buying. I start buying. Look at that. We bought the bottom of the bear market, right? Trump makes a meme coin. Yikes. Is that the top? I don't personally think so. I don't personally think the top is in permanently for this cycle, but we'll see what happens. Let's see. If you don't take risks on your 20s, you will regret later because even if you lose, you are still young and have all the time to start again. Yeah, shout out to Alex. The older you get, the risk becomes higher and higher. Risky is investing. Shout out to Mariella. Said we need that T-shirt. Yeah. Risking is investing, guys. Or, yeah, I think I said that right? Risky is investing. That's English. Shout out to you, bro. Said it's easy to drive blindfolded in a parking lot. You're just going to hit every car in the parking lot. Shout out to Golden. Absolutely. But let's see. Shout out to Aziz said, Frankie, what do you need to call the top? Is bearish divs in the bigger time frames not enough? No. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, right, bear div on the weekly could be the top, right? Like this could be, right? This is why I say, can't call it 100% every single time. But, I mean, at the end of the day, high time frame bearish signals, higher highs. And this is the difficult thing, right? It could be a local top, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to go into a traditional four-year cycle bear market, right? Like a traditional bear market like we typically see. It could mean that there's a lot of turbulence, right? You might get a big drop. Everyone thinks it's the bear market, right? And then eventually it comes back up. And like this brutality is very difficult, right? Because you're thinking to yourself, well, we had a weekly bear div. Oh, my God. But, we do have weekly bearish divergences here. This is a pretty large bearish divergence, right? Higher highs on our price action, lower highs on our momentum waves. I wouldn't be surprised if this does continue us down. Now, it's different to expect downside and then expect a full bear market, right? Because, again, it's going to be more tied towards to the monetary policy, right? So, weekly bearish divergence. You also have a local weekly bearish divergence. You also have the monthly red dot, which is something else that we've been looking at, right? This is another thing that kind of gives me a point towards the bears for the move back to the down or the continuation to the downside. We have the monthly bearish divergence and the monthly red dot. Now, the last cycle, the top came in on a monthly bearish divergence. But and here's the thing. Shout out to Aziz. I don't think you're looking for this, but it is never, ever, ever, ever going to be as easy as just spotting a weekly bearish divergence or bullish divergence or monthly bear div or bull div to just know it's the top, right? Because at the end of the day, you could say that, right? You could say, well, hey, we have a weekly bearish divergence. But then at that point, you're looking at every weekly bearish divergence like, oh, my God, this is the top, right? And you do get weekly bear divs, right? Like even like back here, right? Like You have higher highs on your price action, lower highs on your momentum waves, right? Now, this is in a bear market. Are you thinking like, oh my God, we're going to go into a bear market? So context is always going to be king. There's so many things you have to pay attention to, so many things you have to look at to make have a sound thesis on what is going to happen other than just a bearish divergence. But we totally do have these higher time frame bear divs, which have called the top in the past. But again, from a monetary policy, 4-year cycle, and even technical analysis standpoint, I don't think this necessarily is guaranteeing that the top is in. Now, back here on this weekly bear div, this was much more brutal, right? Because you have a very clean bearish divergence. You had an SFP of the previous high, and you were coming up traditionally to the point in the 4-year cycle where the tops do come in, right? The other thing that we had here was a massive social divergence. Massive spike in search term analytics, YouTube views, all that good stuff on the first top here, right? All the euphoria happened up in here. Then, when we came back up for the second top, we made a higher high on our price, but not only a lower high on our momentum waves with money flow coming out on the weekly, but we also had social sentiment making a bearish divergence as well. Meaning, more people were interested in this top, and when we pumped back up to a new all-time high, there was not as many people that were searching for Bitcoin, so the social sentiment divergence was very important there as well. This was for sure, in my opinion, the euphoric top of the bull market. This was a dead cat bounce / liquidity sweep before setting it back down to 0, right, or 15K. So you have to look at a lot of things, right? And at this point, to be honest, we never really saw any of the real retail come in on this bull market yet. Now, maybe this is the bull market where we don't ever see that happen, right? But we can't really bet on things we've never seen before. Doesn't mean they won't happen, but we can only use history to give us, somewhat good idea of what might play out next. It's not always going to repeat, but it oftentimes rhymes, as they say. So yeah, we do have these bearish divergences, and this is definitely a bearish sign, right? But I don't know if that is strong enough to necessarily call the top, in my opinion. I mean, definitely worth looking at that as a potential, local top, right? You even have your money flow coming out a little bit, but again, it's a little too early to tell, in my opinion, right? Once we start seeing the 2-day money flow really come towards the 0 line, the daily money flow in a bull market will oscillate many times, right? In the green, in the red, in the green, in the red, in the green, in the red, in the green, in the red slightly, and then you stay in the green for quite some time during the real bull market. This is, in the green, in the red, in the green, in the red, in the green, So the daily oscillates, right? So this would just make me think, hey, maybe we get a little bit of a continuation down, right? 80K, 75K, whatever it is. But the, that weekly money flow crossover into the red is a huge signal. Like all these higher daily time frames are going to be much more bearish signals if these start coming into the red. So, I'm not willing to call it the top yet. There's just many things, right? Like, and you can incorporate the 4-year cycle. I'm not saying like don't incorporate the 4-year cycle, but, based off the cycle, based off what we've seen in the past, hopefully they don't delay these. And again, I'm not saying bull market canceled or alt season canceled, but delayed might be in the cards here. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I'm not trying to spread fear. Like we're still going to just be playing this, level to level, right? Like we'll see where we can get the bounces, and chances are, whenever that bottom does come in, we'll be in a long position, and there will be signs on the chart. But I just want everyone to be prepared, just because I just see that the morale out there is not great, right? Like you see, like on Twitter and stuff, everyone's going at each other. It's like, all right, guys, it's okay. Everything is down. Everybody, calm down. This is embarrassing because you guys are not supposed to be investing with emotions, and you guys are doing everything but that, right? Everyone's just like fighting in the comments or fighting on Twitter or fighting on TikTok, whatever it is. So just be careful out there, guys. Please, for the love of God, be careful and just understand crypto's a volatile space. Top could be in. And again, if you're looking for a black or white answer, is the top in or is the top not in? You are going to lose so much money thinking that way. There's no one who's going to know that. You're never going to know it, right? There's only thing you can do is take your information, collect it all together, build up your bullish puzzle pieces, build up your bearish puzzle pieces. In my opinion, the best way to do that is on the charts with real information, not influencers or anything like that, real information on what's going on, and then put the probabilities in your favor and still understand that although the probabilities might be in your favor, they still might go against you. You have to have that plan if things go against you and something unpredictable happens, right? Everybody was loaded up in 2020 for that massive bull market, and what happened? We went sideways. This was super brutal, and then absolute freak out, and then we go into the bull market, right? So if you don't have a plan for this stuff, unexpected things can happen. You got to be ready. Luckily, my long-term bags are packed, right? Like, to be quite honest with you guys, I don't plan on doing this. But if I had to round trip my spot bags here, like, we're just trading the heck out of this thing, right? I have a long-term outlook on crypto, especially Bitcoin, right? And I'm not saying all my alts are going to come back in the next cycle, but, even Bitcoin, right? Like, you hold this thing over the next 10 years, you're going to make money, right? In my personal opinion, I think it's Unless it comes out that like the CIA made Bitcoin or something, I'm pretty sure you have a pretty good chance of making money holding it long term, right? Bitcoin's chart goes up and to the right over time. Have a long-term outlook. You do not have to get rich in a day, a week, a month, or a year, or even 5 years. You have to have a long-term outlook, right? This thing goes in cycles, and it goes up over time. So always remember that. Let's see. And as long as you're investing in good projects, right? Like I'm not saying hold everything to zero every time. But at the end of the day, if you bought the top here, held it, you were up again. Right? And then you were up again, and then you were up again, even more, right? So as long as you're holding good projects that aren't going to go to zero, right? Like Fartcoin or whatever it is, right? It's actually funny because Fartcoin's an actual coin now. I kind of just made that as a joke. But if you're just holding something that's very likely not going to come back, that's a different story, right? But if you're holding something like Bitcoin or Solana or Ethereum, I know Ethereum's like getting a lot of hate right now, but these projects do stand the test of time. Hopefully Ethereum continues to. But, you hold projects like this, it gets a little less scary because you know that you're investing in good stuff that's going to continue to go up over time. But anyway, that's enough of this. That's why I have all my money all in crypto. Frunky, I took the leap of faith. Shout out to Alex. Yeah, and as long as you're willing to handle the, volatility, right? Like, guys, I'm enduring these dumps too on some of my altcoins, right? Like I just showed on TIA. I'm crushed on TIA right now. I'm at 35%, right? For me, that's not really crushed in crypto. But, I'm down on this too, right? But I'm not down about it. I'm just like, you know what? I believe in this project. And even if it goes down lower, right, you can have your stop loss on your investments. I'm not looking to hold it if it goes to zero. But, I'm not freaking out over a 35% dump on an altcoin, right? It's very, very casual when it comes to altcoins. If you've been in crypto, you know. Let's see. Kembro says, I don't know. For me, the fact I'm not selling anything yet is me committing to the black or white answer that the top is not in, or I'd start selling even if I know you can't know 100% it's not in. Yeah, 100%, right? And yeah, the thing is here is like, yeah, like you can't know, right? You really can't know. You have a lot of bearish signals on the higher time frames, but at the end of the day, right? Like, let's see. I think we had some weekly bear divs. I think we had some other like local weekly bear divs potentially here on the, like even on this first top, right? Like you look at this and you say, well, hey, like, people might be screaming weekly bear div here as well, right? And, I mean, at the end of the day, was this the top of the cycle? In my opinion, it was, right? But you have your higher highs, your lower highs. You technically have money flow starting to come out here. But it's really hard, right? Like, no one's ever going to be able to call the top like that. And for me personally, I can only share with you guys what I'm doing, right? Could the top be in at 110K? Yes. But everybody talked about that at 108K too. And I said, I don't think it's in. And what happened? A couple weeks later, we wound up putting in another all-time high. And, like, as far as Bitcoin goes, right? I know the alts are getting crushed. But as far as Bitcoin goes, this is for sure in a bull market, right? Like there is no argument that on the Bitcoin chart, this is an uptrend, right? Like market structure is safe. Market structure is good. This is a bullish trend. This is 100% a bull market. But the alts are a different story, right? A lot of the meme coins, I think the utility coins would have done a lot better if the meme coins didn't suck all that liquidity out. So, it's like another weird thing, right? Every cycle is a little bit different, right? This time the meme coins took a lot of that liquidity. So I don't think, maybe if we didn't have, pump fund, all that stuff, maybe we would have seen Cardano. Maybe we would have seen things like Link and Atom and Polkadot maybe go back up, right? Like Dino coins are a different story. But, we would have seen more of the utility stuff get bigger runs, right? Because all that liquidity that went into the meme coins, all those normies, right? So much easier for a normie to get into something that's like, oh, this is like a cute dog. If I buy it, the price will go, like, it's much easier to sell that to people than try to teach them how to understand why this is a good project. You have to understand, guys, the million TPS. It's a lot harder to sell people than like, hey, buy this cute fuzzy dog and the price will, get rich, right? So I don't know. Just my 2 cents on the overall kind of price action here and just kind of the cycle in general, guys. Could the top be in? Potentially. I don't really fall in that camp just yet, right? Like I said, at least for Bitcoin, right? Just got to wait for more macro structure to get broken, to be honest. But there you go. Let's see. Billions of dollars coming into BTC this year, probably even hundreds of millions just from the U.S. states starting the BTC reserves, going higher, just no idea when. Yeah, shout out to Kembro. Like, that's my thing, right? Like, most of the bags I have pretty good conviction in, right? So just hold it. It's going to go up over time. But Kembro, we can handle the volatility. Shout out to Hayden said, will you alert us when you think it's over? For sure, right? Like, if I was sitting here, right, it's just like impossible for me to say like, oh my God, this is a bear market, right? Like I could tell you, right, that a weekly bearish divergence, although it's really not the strongest bear div here, right? Like, I do stick somewhat to the 4-year cycle, right? Like I'm not a non-believer in the 4-year cycle. I am just for sure a believer in the loose monetary policy, giving risk on assets room to run, right? Without that, we cannot have the altcoins go up. It just will not happen, right? So it doesn't mean that the top is in, right? But if they delay the cuts, we're kind of just stuck to that, right? Once they start cutting rates, that's when things are going to go up. And they just said they're not in a rush. So that's kind of why I'm talking about this today is like there might be more sideways or pain to come. And, a lot of people are probably going to think it's okay, let's say Bitcoin goes to 80K, right? And we wind up hanging out down there and it's really, really miserable. All the altcoins are going down. People are just going to be like, it's a bear market. What the heck? What's going on, right? But it's not that easy to call it that quick. But what I could tell you is we have the monthly bearish divergence. That's a pretty bearish signal. That could be a top signal. There's really no saying that this isn't the top. But for me personally, with the fundamental aspect of things, the macroeconomic aspect of things, I think we still have room to run in 2025. You have the first pro-crypto president. Anytime things are down, things get like doom and gloom. To be honest with you, things are so kind of doom and gloom out there right now that I kind of feel like we might be coming to an end here, right? Not the bull market, but like the bottom might be getting close, right? Might not be in just yet, but it might be close. Right, like everyone's like really frustrated. Who was it? Something popped up on my YouTube the other day. Who was it? He's a big YouTuber. I forget. Shout out to him. But I saw it pop up and I clicked on it. They were talking about the Powell thing, and it was he was just kind of talking about how like morale is super down, and he's like, yeah, like people are at each other's throats, and it's kind of like a bottom signal, and I would agree with that 100%, right? It's usually where the tops come in when everybody's screaming, oh my God, buy these meme coins, everything's going to $1 million. That's typically where the top is, and once people start going at each other in the comments, you start seeing all the animosity comes up. That's typically where the bottom is. So maybe we're getting close. Maybe we're in a bear market. Who knows? Well, we're not in a bear market, but maybe we're headed into one. But again, this was technically a bear market as well, right? I guess kind of. But again, did that screw up the new all-time highs in the bull market? No, right? It was just like a little delayed bear market. A lot of people probably thought everything was over at this time. But what happened? We just continued up. And that's why I just stick to the TA. So until we wind up losing 88K, we don't have to worry. And I will say, like, the big thing that I would be looking at to really start worrying about a bear market, just to wrap this part of the stream up, is going to be very, 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 very simply, we start pushing down into this 786 zone, this is where I start to get worried, right? Because once you get below here, you would hope, right, that you get a quick bounce from here, maybe a big liquidation wick to tap the highs and then send it. If you don't get something like this and you start losing this level, that's probably where it could be over, right? Because once you get stuck back in this range, you drops down to 50 something could be in the cards, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. There's plenty of time to prepare for that. As of right now, I mean, heck, let's hold 91, 92K, right? Like that's the next stop to the downside. We have a lot of room to the downside before we have to deal with that, but just understand once you start breaking 87.3, things could get moving very quickly. So there we go. Let's see. Raul Paul was going off today telling everyone to stop being a biatch. Shout out to Tony. Yeah, I mean, crypto's volatile, guys. You gotta have the stomach for it, for sure. Yeah, shout out to Hayden. So 91K is the next warning. Not that the bull market's over. That would not be a warning to me that the bull market is over, right? But it would be a warning to me like 91K. I'm looking for longs here, right? We lose this. We lose 87.3. That's where we're at risk of coming down here and getting a bunch of liquidations taken into this macro golden pocket daily naked point of control zone. This would be maybe warning number one, right? Like you really want to start getting out of there. But really for me, I'm not really getting worried until we come into the 70s. 70s for me is where I start to get like a little bit, that's not really good, right? But we do have key support down there that we could bounce off of too, right? So it's very difficult. There's never going to be a time. That's why you have to have a plan, right? You got to have a plan. I took a little bit of profit on Bitcoin here. Not a lot. I took some money off the table here. But you got to have a plan going into things. Otherwise, you're going to be reactive, and you're going to wind up losing a lot of money. So 91 is the next stop. Not necessarily bear market warning sign, though. So Hayden, hopefully that helps you out. Let's see. Shout out to Joe Mama. What is going on, bro? Hey, Joe Mama. Shout out to you, man. Said, do you think the all-time high before the halving has affected this cycle, like potentially shifting it to a sooner start and end? Potentially. I to be quite honest with you, I don't really know. I don't really put a lot of weight on that stuff. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't hold weight. It's just not something that I really look at. Like, you have to understand, I am almost a fully technical trader and investor, right? Like, I am almost fully technical. So until I see things on the chart that scream go down here, that's where I'm really starting to get worried. There's the daily red dot, guys. There's the daily red dot. Yikes. That's not a crazy, super scary signal. That was a little exaggerated. But there's the daily red dot, right? Yikes. But anyway, yeah, like, I mean, could it? Yeah, potentially. You know, we made the new all-time high. But to be honest with you, it was barely an all-time high, right? Like, at that point in the cycle last time, you know, we came up, we hit our head on the previous. Let me pull the Bitstamp chart up, right? Pull up the weekly. Right, back in 2017. Yeah, I'll be honest. This somewhat reminds me, guys. This somewhat reminds me of 2019. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, this was a much bigger rally, right? We've made new all-time highs. But I'll be honest. Like, when I was talking the other day about a potential black swan, I don't know. I'm feeling like, I mean, I guess even this was probably closer to that situation, but I don't know. Black, you know, you consolidate, you get the dump, consolidate, push down, black swan, send it to $1 million. So yeah, you know, like, this is kind of my thought, right? If you wind up, let me pull the fib real quick, right? If you pull your fib, that golden pocket is a huge level, right? So, you know, if, right, similar to 2019, right? You get the move up. Obviously, we didn't break the all-time high. It's different, right? It's definitely different. There's no arguing that. But if we came down, right, black swan, send it, right? And again, Bitcoin's kind of already done this big move. Bitcoin's kind of already done the big move, to be honest. Like I said, like, I think Bitcoin could go higher, but I don't know. Like, people are going to start calling for 300K, 400K. Like, I wouldn't fall for that if I were you. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it has a lot to do with, like, the macroeconomics of everything and the geopolitical situation in the world right now. You have to think, right? No one expected that black swan. So if let's just assume we got a black swan. What could potentially happen, right? Well, if we push down into this golden pocket 786, right? That would be a situation where it would look like a crazy, scary situation. Everyone would be like, oh my God, the bear market's here. No alt season, no parabolic move, no nothing. And then what happens? You put the low in on a 786 Fibonacci retracement, right? And you send it. So if we got a black swan and it brings us into that fib zone, again, that's a huge level to look at. And at the end of the day, right, this was sketchy too. Because if this came down, right, what happens? You get so close. You're like looking at this and you're like, okay, wow, Bitcoin is literally at the bear market lows. Right now, this is a totally different situation because if we went to bear market lows, that would literally be from the top, you know, bear market lows would be an 84% dump. That's a bear market, right? But in this situation, things are different, so you have to kind of adjust. Getting a black swan, I mean, this one I think was 50-something percent, 64%, right? So that would be 40%. Dang, 64%. That would be brutal. Yeah, like down to 40K. I mean, yeah, I just bring this up to show you that you really have to be careful because anything can really happen, right? No one expected a 64% drop on Bitcoin as it was working itself out of after it's gotten this gigantic rip out of a bear market, right? Everyone's thinking, oh my God, party time. Oh wait, back down to bear market lows. We're going to $1,000, right? That's you have to be ready for this stuff, right? So, you know, if you did wind up getting a 64% dump, okay, that's low key scary. That's low key. Literally to the same 786, 64% to about 35K. But again, this would be, you know, I would consider that a bear market. Personally, the way I identify a bear market, that would be a bear market to me. You have macro structure being broken. So again, you know, I'm mostly a technical person, right? If you hold this local fib here between 80 and 82K, right? I don't know why I'm like doing this on like on a microscopic level. But, you know, if we wind up holding, is this it? Yeah, 82 to 80K, right? If we come down to this golden pocket, like this is not bear market territory for me, right? We're not breaking any macro structure or anything like that. That is a safe place or a healthy place to come back, put in a retracement and put in a higher low and continue price to the upside, right? Even if you wick down to that 786. Once you start losing that 786, in my opinion, that's where things get shady. That's where I'm looking for a much bigger move down, potentially bear market. So that's my 2 cents there. I don't want to cling on to this too long. But again, when Bitcoin is just going sideways like this, it's not much else to talk about. And then we look at great TA. Shout out to Zakar. I appreciate you, bro. War Paint. Let's go. Shout out to Jesse. Let's see. Trade Intuition said, tired of eating ramen. Let's go, Bull Run. Hungry for steak. LFG, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Hayden said, thanks, bro. No problemo, man. That's what I'm here for. I can only give you guys my opinion and how I'm handling things personally. So there you go. And again, I'm not really feeling the same pain that a lot of people are feeling on their altcoins because I was buying in the bear market. I understand that. But that's just something I had to learn over time too, right? I bought altcoins at the top too, right? I've gone through that whole cycle. I've just come out on the other side of it. Wick 589 said, not getting steak, but I'll settle on lifetime supply of Bologna. Shout out to the bologna fans out there. Let's see. Thought I was a crypto genius. Turned out I was phony. Shout out to Wick 589. Let's go. I think everybody feels like, I think the moment you become a crypto genius is the moment that you realize and accept that you or nobody you follow knows exactly where this thing is going 100%. Again, everybody wants the black or white answer, up or down. Just tell me up or down, man. And it's not just me. It's anybody. Any real trader, any real investor, any person who really has been doing this for a long time and is not just like LARPing on the internet knows that nobody knows, right? All your goal as a trader, your goal as a technical analyst is not to know 100% what price is going to do next. It's to do your analysis, find an edge, put the odds in your favor, and when they do go against you, which they will, even if you have all the odds stacked for you, right? They will go against you at some times, and when that happens, to manage the risk. That's your job. Your job is not to know exactly what the market's going to do. Why is that not your job? Because it's impossible. It is impossible. Nobody knows, right? There's too much that goes into it. You have macroeconomics, geopolitics, you have everything. The TA, the money flow, you got everything, right? Retail sentiment. There's a lot that goes into it. So there you go. One love, bro. Shout out to FUD Expert. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Shout out to Sly Monkey. But there you go. I follow the time travelers. They know. Just got to text Tony really quickly. Hang on one second. They know. Hide the ball. Okay. Was I muted? I hope I was muted. Anyway, let's continue on here, guys. Shout out to Joe Mama said, unacceptable. I need you to know the future. Shout out to Joe Mama. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We do oftentimes know what's gonna happen. We do call it to a T, but I just wanted to cover the longer term here, guys, because I just want everyone to know Bitcoin's volatile, crypto's volatile. You got to be ready to handle those moves. So take that for what it's worth. And smash that like button if you learned anything. Let's see. Shout out to Dave Digital dropping the Discord link in the chat. I forgot what that was called for a second. Let's see. Stop texting me, Frankie. Shout out to Tony Roaz. They know. Shout out to Gen Z. But anyway, again, it doesn't matter, guys. And again, if you are scared of a bear market, let's assume worst case scenario, this is the top. We're going to a massive bear market. There is no better time to study the the videos on this YouTube channel and tune into these live streams to learn how to trade, because the bear markets are just another bull market, because just like we make money when it goes up, we make money the same way when it goes down. So there you go. Never a better time to learn how to trade. We are probably going to run discounts and stuff during the bear market to the Discord, and I'm going to be shilling the YouTube channel, because there is no better time to learn how to trade than in a bear market. Because number one, it is the hardest environment to trade in, but also, I mean, at least at the bottom, it's pretty hard. But at the top, right, you're basically at the top, and if you're making money when it goes up and down, just flip the chart upside down, right? Oh my God. It's basically the bottom, right? And then you can ride it back. Again, they're just candles, right? So you short it, and you're making money on the way up, just like you did on the way down. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, let's continue on here. Should we just do all the TA upside down from now on, right? And I'll actually, for example here, guys, I'll just show you this, right? Like, if the chart looked like this, what would I be calling for, right? Let's pretend that. Let me change this. I'm going to quiz the chat right now. We're just going off going off the rails today, just because things are just boring right now. But what would I be calling for anybody who's been watching the show? What would I be calling for if I had this on the chart? Lower lows on price action, higher lows on our momentum waves, with money flow crossing over into the green. What does that look like? Option A or option B? Let me know in the chat, A or B, which one would this chart call for? I know somebody knows. Long it, baby. Shout out to CJ. Massive gain today. Shout out to my paper past. You could shorten the bear market. Yeah, shout out to Gordon. Absolutely. There we go. Exactly. What we would be calling for here with money flow crossing into the green with a daily bullish divergence is going to be a massive rip to the upside. The problem with this is we changed the color of the money flow and inverted the chart. So what would we have to call for in this situation, just to kind of point this out? Option A. Option A was this. So that is, yeah. So that's the thing. Like, we literally have to be seeing the opposite for me to call it the upside. The great thing is, guys, I could be wrong, right? I've been wrong before. I will be wrong again. Like I said, our goal is not to be right 100% of the time. That's not our job, right? Our job is to put the probabilities in our favor. And right now, the probabilities will be calling for the move to the downside. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, there you go, guys. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Crypto Billy. Said hashtag Frankie Black Eye. Is it that bad? He hit me one time. Well, I can't. Let me go full screen here. I mean, yeah, he only hit me once. He like grazed me. Is it this one? I think it's this one you guys are talking about. Yeah, maybe bags. Guys, I'm bad at sleeping lately. I don't sleep ever. I can't sleep. I can never sleep. It's miserable. But anyway, let's continue on. So if we bounce at 91K, is under 90K not a chance? Hayden, no. It's not. There's not something on the chart that would make it, like, at least at this moment, right? Like, if we get above 91K, that doesn't mean that you're guaranteed not to go to 82, right? There's never going to be something that's that clear, because and the reason, I'll explain this, right? The reason for that is when you have money flow coming out, the anticipation is the trend will continue down, right? In order for a trend to continue down, you have to have lower highs and lower lows. And so it depends. It would have to be, you'd have to wait for it to happen to assess the situation as it happens. But there's never going to be like, hey, if we get above this level, we're never going back down here. Or if we get above this POC, we'll never go back down to 91. Or if we get above this value area high, we're never going to go back to 91. There's nothing that will ever give you something that clear of a signal. It's just, unfortunately, not that easy, right? But you could put a probability in your favor, right? I would say if you get a bounce from 91K, right, it depends on what market cipher B looks like, right? Because if this money flow is continuing to the downside, my thesis or my bias would be to come up, put in a lower high, and continue to the downside, right? Because this is letting us know that the downtrend will likely continue. So that's where we'd be pulling our fib from the high to the low and looking at those Fibonacci levels as a high probability area to put a lower high in and continue down. Now, there could be a million different situations, right? You can come down there, money flow could push back into the green, and then it looks really good for a move out. But it's an if this, then that statement. So it's really hard. So, yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, right, even though this might not be likely, at the end of the day, you could get above 91K and just rip right back to the downside. Anything is possible. And you always have to remember that. You could have every bullish sign on earth. You could have bullish divergences on the daily money flow coming up, and the market, although it might not be common, could easily just send you to zero. So what does that mean? That means every time you take a trade or enter a position, you have your risk management set aside or set ahead of time, right? If price breaks this level, I'm getting out of the trade regardless of what happens, right? But again, if you have a ton of bullish signs down here, maybe the move up is likely, but never 100%. Nothing in trading or investing is ever going to be 100%. And the faster that you learn that, the better off you're going to be in the long term. I promise you, the more money you're going to make. So there you go. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue on here, and we'll see if this daily red dot continues on. To be quite honest with you guys, there is not much else to look at here, right? Altcoins, as long as Bitcoin is going to continue going down or sideways, the alts are likely to follow until the Bitcoin dominance continues down. Hopefully, we could see the Bitcoin dominance start to dump, right? Hopefully, maybe this wick and rejection of that POC was the last thing that we needed. But again, I would be careful. On Bitcoin dominance, we ripped up. We hit this POC. I'm actually going to label this as a POC. So we ripped up, we tapped the POC. Sometimes you come in and hit a POC before getting a big dump to the downside. But I would not be looking at that until we wind up losing this value area low at 60.95%. Now, taking a look at Ethereum, I'll take a look at ETH, maybe Solana. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, we're pretty much, right, key levels on Ethereum. What's going on ETH? We're back within our range, right? And we'll see what happens. Are we going to fill this dang wick? I hope not. But I will say, right, as we play around with this POC, it's very similar, right? Like, this is a no-trade zone for me. Unless you're looking for local trades within a local range or something like that, that could potentially turn into a swing trade, and you're scalping that. I would not be scalping here personally. That's just me, though. But if you can't get back above this POC, next major level I'd be looking at is that value area low at 24.22, in line with that golden pocket. Lose the golden pocket, looking down towards the 786 at 22.89. So that's what I'd be looking at on Ethereum. This golden pocket value area low is going to be a big level to look at. Just because of the volume profile we get down here, I might be interested in looking for long positions back up to the high. But until then, just letting that thing settle down. We need a bigger move here for me to make a decision. And I explained exactly why on last night's live stream, why I wouldn't really be looking for a position here. Because, for a sound swing long, right, I would have to have my stop loss all the way down here, which is massively way too far. So, yeah, I mean, Ethereum still, same thing, right? Ethereum just going in a straight line here. Solana, Solana came down to its value area low, right? We did wind up getting some some bull divs below that value area low into our golden pocket retracement. We're back into this range. So, if Solana can hold above this value area low, and more importantly, the 786, which sits at 182.86, value area low at 192, if we can hold above this entire blue box for the most part, I mean, really the value area low is your key level, right? Hold above that value area low. Maybe you get to move into your POC golden pocket. Am I convinced that that is the case? Not necessarily. You have your 4-hour money flow coming up, kind of, which doesn't look super bad. 2-hour green dot looking to print. Money flow pretty thick in the green. Let's take a look at the 16-hour. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, daily red dot about to print. Yeah, I mean, the levels are clear, right? Like, you want to hold above the number one, the value area low at 192.96. If you lose the golden pocket, 786 is your last line of defense at 182.50. Once you lose that 786, I'm looking to come down to this lower range. So hopefully you could just hold support inside this range here. Boom, boom, boom. Coming to the POC. Golden pocket 786 between 217 and 230. That would be the next major zone of resistance if you do get the bounce here. But again, there's no real super strong signs in my opinion. We don't have any massive bullish divergences or anything. Like you do have slight bullish divergences here on the 4-hour with money flow coming up. You could say this somewhat looks like a decent bottom, right? Lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves, into your golden pocket, deviation below the low. So, but again, that would be hold above the low, look to go into the POC. Once you lose that value area low, it starts to get shady again. And as long as Bitcoin looks the way it does, I would be suspicious on the strong bottoms here on the altcoins. Hopefully it is, right? Hopefully it is. I don't want people thinking like I'm super bearish on Bitcoin, right? Like I'm somewhat neutral right now. When you don't have a high probability outcome that you can look at, you have to be careful, right? So I am somewhat neutral. I'm not saying we're definitely going down to 82K, but I just want to, just because Jerome Powell said they're not in a rush to cut rates, I just want people to be prepared for long-term what could potentially happen, right? Which could be boring or, somewhat scary. But again, at this point, I'm just playing it level to level, just still waiting for, let's see. Hey, shout out to, I don't know how to say that name. Shout out to you, bro, though. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Menz. I'm going to call him Menz. Shout out to Menzo. We're close, so I can call him Menzo. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for the super chat. Said, bro, you got some community. I am in a long 5X lick price at 65K. Way too much in. Not sure what to do. Already down 35%. Stupidity in its best. Shout out to Menz. Shout out to you, bro. Don't feel too bad, right? Don't feel bad about it. The fact that you recognize the mistake that you made is the biggest thing. It is the biggest thing. I lose money tw sometimes. I get stopped out. I even get liquidated sometimes, even if it's on purpose. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. What is it? It is 5X long, lick price 65K. I mean, your lick price is still pretty dang far away. That's the silver lining there. I mean, you got to come down. I mean, at the end of the day, if you get licked at 65K, I'm calling for very likely the start of the bear market at that point. So you're still pretty far away in that point, right? Like for me, again, if we come down here, I'm not tripping. I'm looking for a bounce, in which case you're still nowhere near 65K. But yeah, where's the long from? I'm in a 5X long, lick price 65K, down 35%. Yeah, okay, so you're in a long from somewhere up here. And this is why I don't breakout trade, right? Like some people are breakout traders. They'll just trade as they're getting the breakout. This is the opposite of how we trade. And this is, in my opinion, why we win so much. It's because we literally counter trade breakouts, right? It's like probably going to get sucked back into the range. I'm not going to go over the whole strategy, but yeah, I mean, the one good thing is that you're pretty far away from your liquidation price. But what I would do, brother, I mean, it's up to you. Never financial advice. I can't tell you what to do, how to handle your trades. But what I would say is, I don't know how much of your net worth you have in this trade, right? I don't know the whole situation, but yeah, I mean, you're still pretty far away as far as liquidations go, to be quite honest. But just make sure, set a stop loss. I don't know if 35% is like I don't know how much money that is to you. Again, I don't know the exact situation. I don't know if you're going to lose your house if you lose that money. But yeah, I would use a stop loss. You're still far enough away from your liquidation zone, right, that you can avoid getting liquidated, right? Set a stop loss. Cut your trade when you think it's over, right? You want to set your stop loss based off the charts. Where you think that trade is invalidated, that's where your stop loss goes. So hopefully, if we do go down to 65K, men's, hopefully we don't have you come back in here and say you got liquidated. I hope you come in here and be like, Frankie, look at that. I guess the bear market's here, but I didn't get liquidated because you told me to set a stop loss, and I did. And hopefully we can save you some money like that. So shout out to men's. Yeah, please, for the love of God, set a stop loss. Do not lose all your money. Frankie is going to pat you on the back a little bit before he gives you a bit of a lecture. Shout out to K Diggity. Yeah, I mean, hey. Yeah, so hopefully you do get a stop loss set in there. Again, I don't know the exact situation on your trade. But yeah, it's hard to say what might have gone wrong there. I would need more details. But your lick price is still pretty far away. But even so, if you do go down to that lick price, you should not get liquidated. You should be out of that trade way before. So there you go. Bada boom, bada bing. Ready to level up your... Oh, no. Shout out to Tony D for dropping that Discord link. But shout out to Billy Goat Tales, guys. Don't forget, 9 p.m. Billy Goat Tales will be live. Shout out to Alex O in the chat. Said, just schlong it, baby. Just schlong it. Shout out to Alex. Yes, I am actually schlonging it right now, baby. We are schlonging proud. Schlonging proud, baby. Let's go. Hope you're doing well, Alex. Welcome in, bro. Should have cut it on the pump this morning. Shout out to CJ. Yeah. There's always a Raul Powell says quantitative easing isn't going to come from USA. The money for this alt season will be coming from China. So watch out for the banana zone, baby. Shout out to Crypto Chachu. Yo, that's a fire name, bro. Shout out to you. 10 push-ups for every % down. Oh, that's crazy. I'd rather get stopped out at entry 10 times, but a stop loss is a must. Live to trade another day. Shout out to Al Jr. Yeah, absolutely. The way I trade more often than not, I mean, depending on the situation, right? If it's like more often than not, I'd rather take a couple of shots, right? I'd rather take a couple of, and this is just, I'm not saying this is a good trade or anything. I'm just using this as like an example, right? Like I would rather take some like super, super tight, and I'm not saying they're always this tight, but I would rather take like, tight, like a bunch of get stopped out at entry or get stopped out on a tight stop loss a few times before rather than just like giving myself a long stop loss or anything like that. I might make a video about risk management. I think a lot of people have risk management twisted up on where they should have their stop losses set. Drop a candle in the chat if you guys want me to make a stop loss video. Maybe I'll film that tomorrow for you guys, because I think a lot of people are confused on where to set their stop losses, right? It has nothing to do with your, I don't want to say nothing to do with it, but you should not be setting your stop loss based off this percentage, right? This percentage means nothing, right? I don't want to say it means nothing, but your stop loss should always be set off the chart, right? Your stop loss, regardless of how big or small the stop loss is, it should always be set at where you think that your trade idea is invalidated. Because the chart doesn't care how much percentage your stop loss is. Right? What it cares about is market structure, liquidity, and buys and sells. Right? So that's where you want to set your stop off of. Set your stop off the chart. And if this is too much of a risk for you, you simply just lower your position size. Maybe I'll make a video about it this week. Let's see. Shout out to Jay. He says Asian markets are waking up. Things should start going up again. But Jay, what if they sell? Shout out to Jay. Hopefully they do go up. We'll see if this scalp long will continue to pop off here, or not continue to pop off, but maybe try to stay alive at least. But yeah, there we go. I don't think I actually showed this, but there you go. Right here is the. Can you guys see that? Let me see. Bada boom. Oh yeah, there you go. You can see it. So there you go. About 231, pretty close to entry here. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm in the. My stop loss is not in profit right now. We're at break even. It's all the way down here. I'll probably move that. I'll probably stop myself out manually if I'm sitting at the desk here. That will never get hit. But up 245. We'll see what happens. Also holding the short over on Blowfin. Where's it at? 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 Bada boom. So also holding the short as well here. See, up 2,200. And shout out to Blowfin, guys. Shout out to Blowfin. Actually wound up adding the realized profit I guess, what do you call this, column, so you can actually see the realized profit, because it used to not show that. So shout out to Blowfin. So yeah, 600 locked in, 2,200 on realized. I'm going to keep holding this. Stop loss is in profit. So we get stopped out here. We're just going to continue to get paid out. And if we rip, the long will continue to pay us out. We'll stop out in profit on the short, and vice versa. If the short plays out, we'll stop out, not in profit or at break even, at least as of right now. I'm going to move this right after the stream. But if we wind up getting stopped out of the short, we'll get stopped out for a small loss, and then we'll have the short continue to pay us out. So there you go. That's kind of my plan here, guys. And for the most part, other than that, the key levels remain the same. If that scalp long continues to play out, I'll give you guys that local range one more time, just so you have them on your chart, and you can be ready for it. Right? I'll hide the main range, right? So get above this value area low, hold it as support at 95,755. Get that move up towards that POC anchored VWAP. Spin strong resistance. That is going to be a big level where I'll be looking to take money off the table. And then if we flip that to support, I will be looking for the move into the value area high golden pocket for a second TP. And then again, not that I necessarily would be expecting a massive rip up here and new all-time highs. But locally, that's just, this is my long trade. Right? And then we got the short. I'll just move this over a little bit, right? Short from 102K, long from here. So again, come up here, stop out of the short, in profit, long pays us out. If we continue down, stop out of the long for a small loss, and the short continues to pay us out. But I have to say, guys, my general plan overall, again, scalp long is a scalp. Taking a look at the main range here, I am still just waiting for the bigger levels to get hit. Super garbage price action, guys. Like, this is not only boring price action, but also super hard to call. This is just a reality of sometimes in the market we'll get a situation like this where we've had them many times on the show. You guys have been here long enough, you'll remember. Like, even back here, it got like that a little bit. Over here, it got like that a little bit, where things just get really, really difficult to call. And you just have to wait for more price action to develop so you get more clear signals. Shout out to Jesse. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. He said, still 443 more likes needed. Do it, baby, guys. Smash that like button. Let's go. I don't know where we're at, but let's get at least 80 to 100 more likes as we wrap up the show here. Shout out to Men said, my whole hodl is in that trade ETH. Seller hold. Shout out to Men's. I cannot. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. I cannot tell you whether to hold or close that trade, unfortunately. Yeah, I am not a financial advisor. So yeah, I can't tell you to hold it or sell it. I would, or hold it or get rid of it. I would say, I guess it's Yeah, it's hard to say, man, because at the end of the day, right, if Frankie Candles tells you to hold it, right, which, again, my bias is for a move down. But just understand, if you close that trade at a loss here and my bias is down, that does not, although it plays out more often than it does and we're right more than we're wrong, doesn't mean that we're guaranteed to go down, right? So I don't want to tell you to close the trade. Like, for me personally, this is not what you should do, but for me personally, I would get out of that trade, right? It really depends, honestly. I don't know your entry. I would need more information. It's kind of a loaded question. I would need way more information. But I could say, hey, I would get out of it just because it was if you're down 35%, it probably means you entered at a high, right? Like, so in my opinion, right, for me personally, I'd be like, it's not a great entry. I really need to break out a new all-time highs to make any money on that trade. I would probably close it personally and just find a new entry. But If I tell you to close it and then it randomly pumps out of nowhere, you're going to be like, what the heck, Frankie Candles? I hate you. You told me to sell it. So I can't tell you what to do, unfortunately. But for me, typically, like if I were in a trade, if that trade looks something like this where I was trying to long a breakout and then, again, learn the lesson of setting a stop loss. Because if this thing just started nuking to the floor, I'll be honest, like even low leverage liquidation levels come in very, 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 very fast, faster than you could possibly think. So I would be looking at that like this is what the trade probably looks like at this point, right? Like 65K is your liquidation. So, I would never be in a trade like this, no matter how high the target. Really, I would never have I guess if you were really targeting like 300K or something like that, it would make sense. But if I were like targeting local, like this is essentially what your trade looks like, assuming you entered somewhere up here. I'm just assuming you're down 35% on 5X, so you probably look something like this. That's the opposite of what any trade I would take would look like, right? It would be the opposite. I would have a much bigger price target, right, with a much tighter stop loss, right? Because why don't I do that? Well, if you take trades like this, it only takes one trade to wreck your account, especially it sounds like your whole account is in there. So that's why you never want to do that, right? I would have much tighter stop losses with much bigger profit targets, right? Because, you could take 100 of these trades, right? Especially if you're leverage trading, brother, I'd be careful, right? Because you could take 100 of these trades, stop out for a small loss, right? Stop out for a small loss, 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 stop out for a small loss. Or we'll say stop out, stop out, stop out, stop out, stop out. These are 2% stop losses, so like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then you have a trade that plays out 27%, right? So we could literally lose 5 of these in a row, and then one winner will pay for your losses plus profit, right? But the way you have it set up right now with no stop loss and only holding the liquidation, it's gambling, right? You're just gambling. So, if you did wind up doing that, all it takes is one lost trade, and you lose your entire account. Now, is it the most degenerate position ever? No, right? You're on 5X leverage or liquidation. Like a lot of people will put it on 100X, and their liquidation level super close. So hopefully that helps you. I can't tell you whether to hold it or close it, but that's kind of how I would look at it. For me personally, I've had low leverage trades liquidated before. It's very painful because you don't expect it to happen, and then it happens, and you're like, what the heck is going on? But hopefully that helps you out, men's. I wish I can give you a more straightforward hold it or close it answer, but unfortunately I can't do that. But shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said, people who have zero patience and always complain about not having money do not deserve to have money. Shout out to Golden. There you go. You heard it here first. Shout out to Golden. Let's go. Drop those golden emojis. Golden is the man. Shout out to Nick Dunn. I appreciate. I agree with you. Hedge your trade with a short. That's another option. You could hedge it with a short potentially. Let's see. Shout out to Gordon. Said, I told you all changing leverage does is change your margin ratio. Yeah, exactly. It depends on your risk profile and margin. Yeah. If you jack up your leverage, it'll pull margin out of your actual trade. If you jack the leverage down, if you jack the leverage up, it'll add margin, right? If you jack the leverage down, you need more leverage. If you jack the leverage up, your margin will go down. Is that what I said? Or did I just twist that again? I have videos on the channel showing exactly how that works. The higher the leverage you use, the less margin you'll have. So if you're in a 5X trade and you jack that leverage up to 100X, if you're on a 5X trade, you have more margin in the all margin is the money that you need as collateral to open the trade, right? So it's your actual money that you have on the trade, right? So for easy math, let's say you have $100 on 10X leverage, right? You put $100 in the trade, right? That's your margin on 10X leverage. Your position size is $1,000, right? So you put $100 of your own money in, you jack up to 10X leverage, you now have a $1,000 position, but you're only using $100 of your own money, right? So if you jack that up to 100X, right, it will take some of that margin out. You won't need $100 to hold that anymore, right? So it'll pull the money out and replace that position with leverage, if that makes sense. The lower leverage you have, the more margin you need to put up. So there you go. And if you adjust it, I have a video. If you check out the Blowfin, or I think it's the only leverage trading tutorial mods. If somebody has that link, if you guys could drop that, that'd be super helpful. There's a video where it's like the only leverage tutorial that you ever need. I show you in an actual position when you move your leverage, what happens to your margin. You jack up the leverage, the margin goes down. If you jack down the leverage, the margin goes up. I don't know why I'm so like, it's like trying to spin your hand to the left and like pat your stomach or whatever. So there we go. Shout out to Blockchain Domain. Thank you for the super chat. Said another day of giving my lunch money to the mafia or else Frankie and his goons will take it from me anyway. Shout out to Blockchain Domain. We're a friendly mafia. Unless you say XRP is trash to me in the supermarket. Then we're going to chuck nucks. Anyway, guys, with all that being said, that's all the time we got for today's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out here. Bitcoin's super boring. Hopefully we can get the bigger move, and hopefully we have something to talk about tomorrow, and hopefully I think I see the black eye situation. I think I do see the black eye situation, guys. I'm not gonna. If you guys see any news articles about Frankie Candles in the next couple of days, just know that's an impersonator. I don't care that much about XRP. Anyway, let's see. Bada-boom. Might join the Discord. Shout out to Hayden. Hey, check out the free Discord if you're not ready to join into the premium Discord, where we give the trade setups with the confirmations and all that stuff. Daily TA, 2 live streams a week, all that good stuff. Super educational. But I would recommend starting in the free one. Start in the free one, and also, guys, I haven't said this in a while. For anybody who's new, if you come to the free Discord, shout out to the Mafia and the premium Discord. I straight up, I just hit everybody. Major Bitcoin update. Bitcoin's still in the same spot. Super boring, guys. Super boring. But if you come on over to the free, if you join the free Discord and come on over to the dining room, come into unlock access. If you use any of our affiliate links, Femex, Blowfin, MEXC, and especially if you're already on the already used our link, you might not know this is an option. But if you come on in here, click on whatever exchange you're using, and you go ahead and and it's broken. Blowfin. Oh God, how long has this been down? Shout out to Tony D. How long has this been down for? But wait for Tony to fix this. So give it a few hours maybe for him to fix it. But if you come on in here, click on Femex, Blowfin, or MEXC. If you've used our affiliate links, when you click this button, it'll give you an option to put in your user ID. And then once you do that, just read in here on how to get access, but that's basically how it works. And then you'll get access to basically a free trial. Come to Premium TA. We give you one, sometimes a couple of posts per week in that free section. So you can get a little bit of a taste of what we do in the premium Discord, or just go to the free Discord in general and start there, because I will say the premium Discord is not a signals group. It is not, I could pretend like it's a get rich quick scheme. Hey, just come in. I'll tell you when to buy and sell. You're going to get rich overnight. But I will not sell you that fake dream. That's not how trading works in any signals group. It doesn't matter if you're the best signals group in the world. That's not how it works, right? If it was that easy to make money, no one would have a job. Everyone would sign up for a signals group. It is not a signals group. I give you predetermined personal trade setups that I am looking to take, and I show you the confirmations that I am looking at that I want to see before entering that actual position. So I'm not going to force everybody into the premium Discord if I don't think you're ready. So yeah, go check that out. And if you want the free trial, hit up the dining room. Horrible timing, LMAO. Tony Hitz has been down for 3 weeks. He's like, no, it just went down. I'm kidding. He's probably right. But shout out to Tony D, guys. Mute. No audio? Is this? Hang on. Yo, Golden Chip. Wait, can you guys really not hear me? Testing. It went mute. It was cutting out for a bit. You're good now. All right. Okay, we're good now. Okay, we can hear you. I don't know what the heck that was. I might have hit the wire. But there you go, guys. Go check out the free Discord. Basically what I was saying is I don't want to try to rush people who I don't think are, if you're just starting here, you're just learning about TA, you got to do the homework first. I wouldn't even recommend coming into the premium Discord until you have a decent understanding of what you're looking at on the charts. Could it expedite your learning process? Yes. But you're probably going to get in there and be like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. Like, what the heck is going on? What's absorption, right? Like, you're going to be asking all these questions that you don't understand. So make sure, get into the free Discord, check out the dining room, get a little bit of a taste for it. We've been thinking about potentially putting a barrier to entry into the Discord. Like, not just so we don't get a flood, especially if we get super normie retail to come in everyone's just going to come in looking for trade signals. It's not how trading works. I actually work to train you, right, and coach you and teach you how to become a profitable trader. That way, one day, if I'm not here, you could continue to do this and extract money from the market consistently over time and hopefully fire your boss so you don't have to work a normal 9 to 5. Definitely not a signals group. Definitely not a signals group. I will say that's all in blue in the face. But anyway, with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time. Pay that market tuition, noob. Shout out to Blockchain Domain. Tony D said, thought I was tripping. You def hit mute for like 10 seconds. That is super weird. But yeah, guys, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out with us till the end of the stream. I don't know how many likes we got. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. 502, baby. We're almost at 550. Running up to 550 before the music ends, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Speed showing for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, all they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving it energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Billy Goat Tales, 9 p.m. Be there or get wrecked in crypto. Go check him out, guys. 9 p.m. Billy Goat Tales on X. Tony D dropped the link. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Let's go. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on the road, hey. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal